Good evening, baseball fans. How are we doing? Baseball America has released their farm system rankings for 2022. Let's get into it. Man, what is going on, baseball fans? Hello. Right around 35 people in the chat as of right now. Hope everyone is doing well on this fine Wednesday evening. Happy hump day, everyone. Do people still say that? A lot of familiar faces I'm seeing in the chat here. Bass Fishing Fuels, hello. Andrew, what's going on, my friend? Lionheart70, King Yellowman, hello. Cody Crowell, what's going on, my friend? Orlando, hello. AB, Nicholas Carrasio, what is going on, my friends? How are we doing? Hey, I know it's a slow time. There's no news. This has probably been one of the more slow news days during this whole lockout. It has been incredibly slow. But Baseball America picked a good day to come out with their farm system rankings. They've had their rankings, I think, super chat coming in. What in the world? Can't say tonight, but just wanted to throw a super to celebrate my M's rightfully taking the number one spot. JM, you have played spoiler, my friend. Oh my goodness. I think everyone can agree with that anyway. Can't wait for J-Rod, Noel V. Ford, Hancock, Brash. I mean, hey, the Mariners, oh my. We'll get into their farm system here in a little bit. But JM, thank you so much for the super chat. Really appreciate you, my friend. Thank you. Have yourself a good night, my friend. But yes, it is a slow news day, of course, but Baseball America, they picked a very good time to release their farm system rankings. They did release their rankings, their updated rankings, I think around like 5 or 6 months ago. I think it was their mid-season rankings. So these are updated. So heading into 2022. So kind of a big deal. Pretty much it was, I would say, the talk of the town, besides MLB The Show, when it came to baseball talks today. So we'll get into it tonight. Again, hope everyone's doing well. Let's get into this. But before we do, everyone, if anyone's new, hit that subscribe button. Please hit that like button. It's really going to help the algorithm out. Hit the bell notification. Share the stream. Share any of the content if you can. So let's get into it here. I'm not going to waste any more time. Here we go. Alrighty. So as we can see here, starting off, we have the Chicago White Sox coming in at number 30. I don't think there's really any surprise there when it comes to the Chicago White Sox. Their major league team is as ready as it gets. They have used a lot of resources in their farm system to get players that they have on their roster, as well as simply just players coming up from the minor leagues. So they're trying to reinvigorate that farm system. They're pretty much all in at the moment when it comes to the major league teams. So what I am going to do is I'm going to look at where they rank right now, but I'm also going to look at where they ranked prior. I'm also going to look at where Fangraphs has them currently ranked, as well as, actually no, MLB Pipeline does not have their farm system rankings, I believe, for 2022 as of right now. If I am wrong, please let me know. I did look. I couldn't find anything, so if there is any updated rankings on MLB Pipeline, please let me know. But I will use MLB Pipeline a little bit because I do simply just like their presentation. To me, I think their presentation, it's just very good. Obviously, you got all the pictures, kind of what level they're at and whatnot. But Baseball America, I tend to trust Baseball America when it comes to prospect kind of stuff. Hold on, let me pull up their website here. I mean, they have a lot of good content on their website. I'm not affiliated with Baseball America at all, but if you are looking for more knowledge when it comes to prospects, when it comes to draft information, international players, Baseball America, I feel like they're kind of a forgotten outlet a lot. They produce a lot of good content on here, not just rankings, but they have articles and whatnot. I mean, they just put up something today, all-time Baseball America number one farm systems. I mean, like, it was a pretty nice read going through all of that. They go year to year on the number one farm systems, and I'll actually show you something a little later. Pretty fun. It's a fun fact when it comes to number one farm systems. I think Mariners fans, I'm already spoiling a little bit. We already had a super chat. I already spoiled the number one on Baseball America. But Mariners fans, I think you'll be not just happy with your farm system, but I think you're going to be happy with a statistic as well. So stay tuned for that. But again, Baseball America, very good. But I've rambled on enough. Let's talk about these rankings. Here we go. Starting off with the White Sox. They're at number 30 right now. Like I said, they already have all these guys up in the major leagues. They used prospects to acquire players as well, young guys to acquire prospects. So their major league team is pretty stacked at the moment. And if we actually take a look here, here we go. Here's the midseason rankings right now. So the midseason rankings, there's no change. They stay in the number 30 spot. And if we go take a look at Fangraphs, they agree as well, coming in at number 30. They just need to really rebuild. If we're taking a look at their depth, as of right now, the highest ranking that you can get as a prospect or the highest grade is an 80. You're pretty much just elite at that point. Guys like Adley Rutschman, he's like a 70. He is one of the top prospects in the game. Guys that are 60 are extremely good. Obviously 65 as well. 55, a very good above average kind of a player. Actually, if I were to pull up Fangraphs, scouting, they actually have, just in case, I just want to give as much information here as I can. Just in case you are wondering how the scouting grades work. I promise I'll get back to the White Sox here in just 1 second. Just want to give you a little information. So if you are an 80, you're pretty much your upper 90s with the fastball, or you're a guy that's probably going to hit 320 or above with 40 plus homers. I mean, you're pretty much just the best of the best. Well, maybe someone like a 50, you're looking maybe low 90s with your fastball, maybe 260, 270 average, 15, 20 home runs, somewhere around there. Someone like a 60, that's a plus player. 93, 96 sitting with your fastball. Someone that hits anywhere from like 280 to 300 in there, maybe 20, 30 home runs. That's a really good player. And as you can see here, it just goes on and on. So, and if we were actually take a look here, projection wise, what do they look like they're going to be? If you're a hitter, you're, top 1, 2 in the game, or top 2, 3 if you're a 75, top 5 if you're a 70, you're at 65. Your floor is an all-star at that point. As for a pitcher, if you're an 80, you're really looking like you're going to be a number 1. So it just goes down and down and down and down. So if you're an 80, you're pretty much you're elite at that point. You don't want to be a 30 because you're pretty much just organizational depth at that point. So usually I feel like a lot of players that end up getting called up, guys that have hype, you're usually going to see 60 to 70 usually. I don't know if we've really had a lot of 80s. I don't know. Was Mike Trout an 80? I feel like he might have been a 70. I'm not quite sure. Spencer Torkelson, Adley Rutschman right now, those guys are 70s. George Kirby on the Mariners, that's a 70. But yeah, anyway, so just to give you a rundown of that. But the White Sox, if we're taking a look at the White Sox currently, in 2021, heading into 2021, they ranked 20th. So as you can see, they've dropped all the way down to 30. The skinny on the White Sox, according to Baseball America, the White Sox graduated a tremendous group of talent to the majors and reached back-to-back postseasons as a result. What's left is a thin farm system, worsened by poor 2021 performances from its 3 top pitching prospects, Jared Kelly, Matthew Thompson, and Andrew Dahlquist. Jared Kelly was a guy heading into the draft in 2020. There was hype around him as a high school pitcher, but then he kind of fell. He fell in that draft, and the White Sox picked him up late. So he is someone, you got to keep an eye out for him. There's definitely some promise with a Jared Kelly. On MLB Pipeline, he ranks 5th overall. He has a 50 overall grade. Big slider, good changeup, okay slider, but Jared Kelly, he just needs to kind of put it together a little bit more. As you can see, the numbers last year, he went 0-7, a 7.61 ERA over 12 games. So Jared Kelly. But the top prospect overall is Colson Montgomery, which shows how thin this system is because they just drafted Colson Montgomery. If we take a look, the 22nd pick. Oh, I'm hearing a super chat coming in. Oh, Conman752 with a $20 bomb. What is going on? He says, what's up, Robbie? How's it going? I'm doing all right, my friend. How you doing? Haven't been able to ask, but wanted your thoughts on the O's moving left field back. Heard rumors left center, and thus the bullpens will be moved if teams thinks it works. Honestly, I mean, the Orioles, they've consistently given up so many home runs year to year to year. Someone like John Means, that's going to be great for him, a fly ball pitcher. I could definitely see this guy, hey, a couple of balls staying in the yard. Hey, for someone like a Grayson Rodriguez, you're already pretty excited about him anyway, but hey, give it a bit more of a pitcher-friendly park, and I mean, come on, you got to be more excited about Grayson Rodriguez at that point too. I think it's going to be fine. I think so. I mean, honestly, you're giving up a ton of home runs year to year to year. Why not? Why not? I don't see the problem with it. I'm not really, when I saw it, I saw some people not happy with it. I don't know. To me, hey, pitching wins championships, pitching and defense. If you can help out the pitching at all, help out that pitching, then hey, I think you're going to be all right. So I like it. I'm okay with it. I'm indifferent about it. I don't really care either way, but I think for Orioles fans, if you can improve your pitching, I think that's a win-win if you ask me. Conman, thank you for the $20 super chat, my friend. Thank you. I really do appreciate that. Thank you so much. Hope you're doing well tonight, my friend. Colson Montgomery, again, the 22nd pick. The fact that he's the number one prospect, at least on MLB Pipeline, as well. Also, if we go take a look here. Oh, wait, no, hold on. This is it right here. He's also the number one prospect on Baseball America. Yoelqui Cespedes, he's coming in at number 2. One guy, I feel like we don't hear of very much is Norge Vera. Norge Vera, he, as of for best tools, he has the best control in the system. So definitely keep an eye out for this guy. This is a guy, he has a 55 grade. Baseball America says there's an extreme risk with him. So that is something to keep an eye out for. But right now, he is anywhere from a 93 to 96, but he can get up to 100 miles an hour. Big frame. So he can definitely add some size as well. If we're taking a look here, he's got a 70 fastball, like we just talked about, the miles per hour, the 55 slider, but really, as well as the control, it looks like he really needs to add a third pitch. As of this point, is this guy he sounds like a closer at this point. I mean, good grief. If you're working with 2 pitches, a 70 fastball and a 55 slider, that's not too bad if you ask me, and a control of 55 sounds like a pretty good closer already. So they're saying here, Vera is ready to jump straight to a full season in 2022. His innings will be closely monitored, but he has the stuff to be a mid-rotation starter if he can build up his durability. So it looks like he's battled some arm fatigue, but I feel like Norge Vera is a prospect to keep an eye out for. He was an international signing, got a $1.5 million signing bonus. So look out for Norge Vera, the number 3 prospect in the White Sox system, while on Pipeline, they're ranking him at number 8. So to me personally, I trust Baseball America a little bit more. That might sound very counterproductive because this is MLB.com. But you got to remember, MLB.com, they got a lot of stuff going on over there. Baseball America, their prime focus is really prospects. That is their prime focus. So to me, I'm going to lean a little bit more towards Baseball America when it comes to prospect knowledge. So to me, hey, Norge Vera, this is a guy to keep an eye out for. Number 3. They just drafted Wes Kath. I think this is a really underrated prospect from that draft. Keep an eye out for him. You got someone like Jake Berger down here as well. But overall, Matthew Thompson, you would like to see do a little bit more as your number 7 prospect. As of right now, he's only a 45 overall. But there is some promise with a 60 fastball and a 55 curve. It's just really with him, the numbers. If you take a look at 2021, he went 2-9 with a 5.99 ERA. So this is a guy where, hey, he's 6'3", 195. this is a guy, if he can just get it together a little bit, this is a guy to keep an eye out for. So we'll have to see how these guys improve over the next year. Let's head on to number 29, the LA Angels. Man, oh man, the Angels, are they ever going to get it together? Are we going to see this team, this organization, get it together? Reed Detmers is considered their top prospect at the moment. He is their only top 100 prospect. Also, going back to the White Sox, they have no top 100 prospects. Could that change by the end of the year? Maybe. So, as for the Angels, though, they ranked 23rd in 2021, and they have dropped down to 29. So, probably because you're going to be seeing, guys like Joe Adell, Brandon Marsh, Griffin Canning, Patrick Sandoval. These are guys that have come up to the major leagues now. So, no surprise, kind of like the White Sox, these guys are graduating to the major leagues. So, they need to replenish that farm. They drafted all pitchers in the draft this past year. So, let's see how that pitching develops in their system. But Baseball America, these are the comments they have. The help Mike Trout and Shohei Ohtani need to get to the playoffs isn't going to come from this farm system, which falls off sharply after the top 3 players. The Angels will have to rely on health from their stars and greater contributions from recent prospect graduates Joe Adell, Brandon Marsh, Griffin Canning, and Patrick Sandoval. So, if we're taking a look at the Angels mid-season, were 25th. So they have steadily dropped. If we go to the Angels here, let's take a quick look here. Let's go here. Angels, what do we got going on here? Oh, as for Fangraphs, the Angels are ranked 28th. So Fangraphs, they give them a little bit more they give them one more spot higher. So the Angels, as of right now, Reed Detmers, this is a guy, he came up to the major leagues last year. He had a rough go. There were some times he really showed some good flashes, but overall the numbers just weren't very good. Sam Bachman is a guy, I think a lot of people, they were a little surprised that Sam Bachman going in this spot instead of a Kumar Rocker in that draft. But Sam Bachman, this is a guy to keep an eye out for. They got a lot of infielders at the top here. Kyron Paris, Jeremiah Jackson. You got Aurel Vera here as well. Jordan Adams, this is a guy that kind of struggled a little bit last year, but go take a look at his numbers. Jordan Adams, this is a guy, super athletic. Look at the run tool, an 80 run. That is as good as it gets. We took a look at the scouting grades earlier. An 80 is the highest you can get. This is one of the most athletic guys in all of minor leagues. He's got a 50 overall. He's very good in the field. He doesn't have, according to MLB Pipeline, not a great arm by any means. And as well, if we take a look at his stats, he just really didn't have it last year. He had 71 games in high A ball, only had a 290 on base, only hit 217. So he struck out a lot. We're going to have to see Jordan Adams really put it together. If we actually take a look here, I would imagine Jordan Adams, he's got to be, the best defensive outfielder goes to Jordan Adams here, according to Baseball America. No surprise, especially with that speed. And as you can see here, best athlete, Jordan Adams, and the fastest base runner. So there's no questioning what he can do on the bases and in the field. So if we look at Sam Bachman here, I was actually a little surprised here. I thought maybe they would put extreme because this is a guy that had some arm troubles in college, but it seems like maybe he kind of ironed it out a little bit. The durability is still going to be a question, but it looked like he was able to put it together towards the end of his college season. He's got a 2-pitch mix. He's got his 2-pitch mix, delivery, durability questions point to a future as a setup man or closer. So Can they get this guy to build up to a starter? Maybe. He's a big guy. He's 6'1" and he's 235 pounds. Kind of sounds like Lance Lynn almost. When I think of Sam Bachman, I think of Lance Lynn a little bit. If we actually take a look, what is Lance Lynn? What is he at right now? Lance Lynn is definitely bigger. He's 6'5", 270. So I'm looking at a slightly smaller Lance Lynn when it comes to Mr. Sam Bachman. But he's got a 55 overall. It sounds like his floor is a very good reliever in that bullpen. So we'll have to take a look. You got some infield guys here. Kyron Paris. We took a look also Jeremiah Jackson. These are, they're both 50 kind of guys. I feel like they're not. Last year in the minor leagues at 188 at-bats, Jeremiah Jackson, he only hit 277. He's got a little speed. I feel like this is a guy that could be a serviceable guy down the road, but I feel like you need to see a little bit more. And from someone like a Kyron Paris as well. He can steal some bases, but we're going to have to wait and see. As you can see here with Paris, he only got a 40 fielding, 40 power, but he can hit. If you take a look here, I mean, 267 average, 388 on base last year in the minor leagues. So, I don't know. Infield-wise, I feel like the Angels are pretty good when it comes to position players mostly, except for shortstop. What are they going to do about shortstop? Could you see one of these guys, like, could Kyron Paris or Jeremiah Jackson, make really big strides this year? Could you maybe see them in the second half of the season next year? Maybe. I'm assuming they'll both start. I would imagine if Kyron Paris, he was at high A ball last year. I don't know. He didn't really put up great numbers. I'm imagining that's where he's going to start. And Jeremiah Jackson as well. He was in A ball. So I would imagine they're probably going to start there, or they'll just put him up in Double A. But they're definitely going to have to make some big strides if they want to see some major league time next year. But for the Angels, really what we're looking at with the Angels, they come in at 28th on Fangraphs. I mean, they don't have a lot of guys when it comes to, these top prospects. Right now it's guys that are pretty far away, guys that are they're not as high on the grading scale as of right now. More guys in the 45 through 35 range. So the Angels, they really need to rely on some player development over the next couple of years. So that's the big thing here. Moving on to number 28, we have the Houston Astros. No surprise to see the Astros this low. Their midseason ranking was at 29. So they actually did go up a spot. They actually have two prospects in the top 100. You got Corey Lee and Jeremy Pena. They're both in the 70s, but hey, top 100, two guys, not bad. But really with the Astros, it's just the depth of their farm system. They've really got to start adding some more guys into that farm system, get some more depth there. As for Baseball America, they say Houston built much of its perennial playoff team through excellent player development. Corey Lee, Jeremy Pena could help before long, but the rest of the system just isn't where it was a few years ago, with a lack of power arms that were a fixture of the system at that time. Hey, Forrest Whitley is a guy that was a power arm, but he ended up having to get Tommy John. So we're going to have to wait and see if Forrest Whitley can get back eventually healthy and get back to what he was projected to be. Forrest Whitley was a guy who was one of the top pitching prospects in the game at one point, and he really fell off. He went to Arizona Fall Ball, did well there, and then he ended up having to get Tommy John. So Forrest Whitley not really in the conversation as of right now. But if we go take a look here with the Astros, let's see what we're working with here. So Jeremy Pena is, to me, the most interesting guy, because if Carlos Correa does not come back, I would imagine Jeremy Pena is going to be a guy you turn to. This is a very good fielding shortstop. If we take a look here, the best infield arm and best defensive infielder go to Jeremy Pena in their system, as well as Corey Lee. Corey Lee is going to be, I think, a pretty solid catcher. He's your number one guy. But looking at Jeremy Pena first, this is a guy, he's very good in the field. He's got a 60 field, good speed. He's going to give you a smooth shortstop along with a 60 arm as well. Really right now, the power is the only thing that's getting a little bit limited. Only 10 home runs last year. But hey, it looked like maybe Pena made some adjustments to his swing. And if he can keep those adjustments going, maybe add a little bit more size, I think this is a guy, he can end up being a really solid player. And he also actually had a fracture in his left wrist at one point. So that's something to consider as well. So, but when he came back, he ended up doing really good. He had 16 extra base hits. So we'll have to see what happens with Jeremy Pena. This is a guy, he could definitely slide into shortstop right now. It says here, Pena's offensive adjustments make him a potential everyday regular at short. He should start the 2022 season at AAA. And again, I feel like Carlos Correa, if he doesn't come back, that's a guy, Jeremy Pena, you can turn to him. And I feel like you have enough bats to kind of hide him in that lineup a little bit. If he's giving you good defense, I think the Astros would be more than happy with it. Corey Lee, take a look at Corey Lee here. This is your future catcher. As of right now, Corey Lee, he's got a cannon of an arm. He's really good in the field. He's overall going to be a solid hitter, 50 hit, 50 power. hey, Corey Lee, this is a guy, really keep an eye out for him. So you don't see a lot of top catching prospects these days, but Corey Lee, this is one of them. So, hey, I have to see. Do we end up maybe seeing Corey Lee at some point? Well, let's actually see. Where is he currently at on Pipeline? Yeah, I mean, he's very close. He's very close. As of right now, projected for AAA. Last year, he did really good. Overall, he went from A-ball to AA to AAA all in 1 year. Look, he'd probably start at AAA this year, I would imagine. Unless he just goes bonkers in spring training, but because he didn't perform too well at AAA. I feel like AAA time would be really good for him. But, I mean, taking a look, hit 330 in A-ball, had 8 home runs in AA. So, as a guy, I just think he just needs a little bit more seasoning, and I think we're going to see him eventually. Hunter Brown is a guy, I think, to keep an eye out for. Hunter Brown, as of right now, this is a guy that's pretty close to being Major League ready. He had 24 games last year, 19 starts, 100 innings. The ERA, nothing great, a 4.04 ERA. But taking a look, he had 131 strikeouts, over 100 innings, 50 walks. Needs to get those walks down a little bit. So as you can see here, he only has a 45 control. But big fastball, big curveball. Hey, with the Astros, they've had some injuries. Justin Verlander coming back from Tommy John. What's going to happen with Lance McCullers Jr.? Could you see someone like Hunter Brown get some starts this year for the Astros? So we'll have to keep an eye out for Mr. Hunter Brown. I think he's an intriguing one. Keep an eye out for him. So, or if you end up not getting starts, could maybe they use him in the bullpen. So, as you can see, big fastball, good slider, very good curveball. He's got a 4-pitch mix. It's just the control. If you can get that worked out, get the mechanics smoothed out a little bit, I think Hunter Brown is a very interesting guy to keep an eye out for. So, moving on to number 27, the Oakland A's. Oh my, they're just trying to get prospects, it seems like, at this point. But you do got one really good prospect in Tyler Soderstrom. This is a guy, as of right now, the catching still needs work, but there's a lot of scouts out there that think he is very close to being a major league hitter already. So that is one good thing that you have in your system. If he ends up not being a catcher, you got Sean Murphy there already. Could Tyler Soderstrom, could he end up moving to a different position? Maybe an outfield spot, or maybe one of the corners, or a DH. I don't know. But Tyler Soderstrom, this is a guy you should be, if you're an A's fan, you should be very excited about that bat. Let's actually go take a look at what prospects we have here with the Oakland A's. Coming in at number 27 on Baseball America. They agree. More of a the number one, but they also see him as maybe a first baseman as well. You got some other guys here. Max Muncy. No, not the Dodgers. Max Muncy. They just drafted Max Muncy, high school player out of the draft this past year. AJ Puck. This is a guy, we've seen him before. He's battled with some injuries. AJ Puck is this guy out of Florida. Is he going to finally get to the major leagues? So if we go take a look here, AJ Puck has already pitched in the major leagues. So it's not like, that's going to be anything new. We've seen him before. But AJ Puck, as of right now, big lefty, 6'7", 250 pounds, big fastball, big slider. Kind of reminds me of Josh Hader a little bit. Just a big guy, kind of a lanky kind of a guy, but big fastball. So the control is what plagued him a little bit. Taking a look at his numbers in, I believe it was 2019. He had 10 games out of the bullpen. In 2019, he did very well. Then in 2021, he came up last year, and he just didn't have the same numbers. ERA in the sixes. He had some strikeouts, though. I think AJ Puck, this is a guy we could finally start seeing more of him in the major leagues this year. Max Muncy, I think, was a really solid guy to draft. Taking a look, he was just an overall good player, very well-balanced player, so it's going to be a while before we see something like him, but I think, it'll be exciting. Could this be your future shortstop? Possibly. You got some other guys here, Dalton Jeffries, but you got Zach Galoff as well, third base prospect. Overall, he's got good power tool, 55. He's a very balanced player here. Very balanced player. The A's believe Geloff has the bat, approach, and makeup to jump on the fast track, potentially arriving in Oakland as early as 2023. I mean, look at these numbers that he put up, over 138 at-bats last year. Hit 333, on base of 422, 565 slugging. Hey, this is a guy, keep an eye out for him. He's got 13 stolen bases as well. This is you got some guys up here at the top. If they keep developing, I think the A's, they could definitely move up on this list. And hey, honestly, you could definitely see the A's really climb up a lot of spots after this offseason. If they end up trading guys like Matt Olson, Matt Chapman, Sean Manaea, Frankie Montez, that could really bring in a lot of prospects. And you could maybe see Oakland. Could you see Oakland maybe jump into the 20 through 15 range at that point? So I think it's going to be interesting to see what ends up happening. So moving on, number 26. We almost got 100 people in the chat, everyone. What's going on? How are we doing? Number 26, the Washington Nationals. No surprise here to see the Nationals. They had to reload that farm system a little bit. You traded away Max Scherzer, Trey Turner. That was the right move. You got Kyber Ruiz. You got Josiah Gray in that trade. That, to me, that was the right move to make. You also have Cade Cavalli as well, one of the top pitching prospects in the game, number 27 on Baseball America's Top 100. You just drafted Brady House. I believe that was at number 10 or number 11 in the draft this past year. But Baseball America, they say here, the Nationals looked headed to the basement of the organization talent rankings early last year, but trading for Kyber Ruiz, drafting Brady House, helps significantly. Right-hander Cade Cavalli gives the system a potential frontline starter as well. So I think for the Nationals, they were dead last year, but they've climbed up a few spots. I think for the Nationals, try to keep adding prospects, keep developing. If we go take a look at where were they last in the midseason rankings? They were 23. So they've dropped down a few spots. So let's go to the Nationals. What do we got here in their top 10? I'm not doing full dives into these prospect rankings right now, just because we got 30 teams to talk about here. So just going to be looking at the top 10s, at least on Baseball America. So Kyber Ruiz is going to be number 1. I think that was a huge pickup. This is a guy that can be your future catcher. And then you have Cade Cavalli. Could Kyber Ruiz, Cade Cavalli, could these be, a dynamic duo eventually? I definitely think so. Brady House is a big guy. Can he stay at shortstop? Could he move to third at some point? But this is a guy who has a lot of power, so look out for him. Also, it's not showing here, but they just also drafted. They just signed internationally. Where are the signings? International bonus board? I forget his name. Christian Vaquero. So, this is a guy, really keep an eye out for him. He's a 16-year-old guy right now, but oh boy, go look at some video on Christian Vaquero. And this is a guy I think could really turn into something down the road. Got a really nice swing from the left side. Oh my God. He just, very good. Looks very good. But also he's a switch hitter now too. So can he stay as a switch hitter? We'll have to wait and see. But he's not in their top 10 as of right now. So I'm guessing they just haven't updated it. But there's a lot to like at the top when it comes to the Nationals. If we take a look, the Nationals, Fangraphs gives them a little bit more leeway here. They have them at number 23. Again, I don't know, Fangraphs, do they need to update anything? We'll have to wait and see. But as of right now, they are definitely, they're kind of lacking on the top prospects, but they do have a lot of guys in the 45 through 35 range. Could they turn into, more anything from 50, 60, maybe even 70? But I do like that you have a catcher and Kyber Ruiz. I think that's huge to me. And then Cade Cavalli as well. If we go take a look at Cade Cavalli, this is a guy where he has really shown a lot so far. He was very good. He had 175 strikeouts over 124 innings last year. I mean, come on. This guy is a lot, man. There's a lot to like about him. He's got a 70 fastball, good curveball, good slider, good changeup, decent control. He's got a 4-pitch mix. I mean, come on. So right now they're saying here the Nationals couldn't have asked for much more out of Cavalli in 2021, as he looks the part of a front end of the rotation starter whose arrival will come sooner rather than later. Let's see where Pipeline has him. I would imagine you're going to see him at some point this year. I mean, he's projected for 2022. Again, taking a look at the numbers from last year. I mean, this is a guy, he was already pitching in AAA. He had his bumps in AAA, so he'll definitely start at AAA. I don't see him breaking the major league roster out of spring training, but AA put up some very good numbers. Single A put up very good numbers. So he'll start off in AAA, and I think eventually you're going to see him at some point. But they're not going to rush him. They're going to make sure he's ready to go. So this is your best pitching prospect, really, I think. Could this be your best pitching prospect since Steven Strasburg? So, but yeah, the Nationals coming in number 26. At number 25, we have the Milwaukee Brewers. One top 100 prospect in Aaron Ashby. The skinny. Few organizations have developed homegrown pitching like the Brewers in recent years, with left-hander Aaron Ashby possibly the next in line. The rest of the Brewers system is less inspiring, with a host of high upside question marks throughout the top half of their talent base. So the Brewers, hey, they've really done a good job at developing pitching in recent years, but when it comes to the farm system rankings as of right now, they were 22 at midseason. They've dropped down to 25 as of right now on Fangraphs. They're a little more friendly, having them at 21. Again, they have a lot of guys, more in the 45 through 35 range. It's going to come down to development. The Brewers right now, they're a team that's a playoff-ready team. So a lot of their guys, younger guys, have graduated to this major league team. So Milwaukee, the next couple of years, they're really going to have to develop, and they're really going to have to draft. But if we're taking a look at what we have to work with top 10-wise when it comes to the Milwaukee Brewers, let's take a look at Milwaukee. Again, Aaron Ashby, this is a guy, he actually got a taste of the major leagues last year. He got rocked, I believe, by the Cubs when he first came up. I think he gave up like 8 runs or something like that. Actually, oh no, here he is, number 8. But yeah, he ended up being pretty good after that. He had 13 games last year overall, 4 games that he started. But hey, this is a guy where keep an eye out for Aaron Ashby. I wonder, where does Fangraphs have Ashby as of right now? Milwaukee, here we go, Brewers. Taking a look here. So they have Ashby. They have him currently for the bullpen. So I have to keep an eye out for that. Could he end up maybe make it to the starting rotation? I don't know. We'll have to see. But for Milwaukee, like I said, Ashby. You got Bryce Terang, who I feel like he hasn't really taken that next step. So maybe look out to see if Bryce Terang can maybe make something happen. They just drafted Sal Frelick. You drafted Garrett Mitchell a couple of years ago. Actually, Garrett Mitchell is number 1 on Pipeline, but he's number 4 on Baseball America for the Brewers. So last year, in A-ball and AA, he killed it in A-ball. He had 359. He had 5 homers, 20 RBIs, 12 stolen bases. He went to AA, had his bumps there. So you'll see Garrett Mitchell, who'll go to AA. I did like the Sal Frelick draft pick. I thought that was a really, really nice pick for them. Hard-nosed kind of a player. And hey, look what he did last year and after he got drafted. He had 4 games in rookie ball. He went to A-ball, high A-ball. And overall, he had a really good season through 35 games. So got for Sal Frelick. Could this give, this is a college player. Could he make his way through the minor leagues pretty quick? Again, Bryce Terang. This is a guy where I think he could be a really solid player. He's a 55 overall. But when we're looking at his numbers, only a 258, a 347 on base, only a 362 slugging. You want to see more out of him. Only a 315 slugging at AAA. Good on base, but the average was 245. We need to see more out of Bryce Terang. So for the Brewers right now, you got a few guys at the top that could definitely end up contributing. Number 24, the Colorado Rockies. Colorado, not much of a difference from last year. They were 25th last year, 24th this year. Zach Veen, hey, drafted out of 2020. This is a guy, kind of reminds a lot of people of Cody Bellinger. Baseball America, this is what they're saying. The Rockies' success in the complex and Class A leagues is indicative of the young talent looking in the lower levels of their system. At the same time, those players are many years away, and the upper levels are largely barren. So the Rockies, they've been having some pretty decent draft picks. So, are we maybe a couple of years away from really seeing some fun prospects with the Rockies? We'll have to wait and see. But let's see who Baseball America has in their top 10. As of right now, so Zach Veen, the consensus number 1 top prospect. You got Michael Toglia. Drew Romo is a guy to be excited for. The Rockies, I feel like, have never really had a catcher. When I think of the Rockies, I can't think of a guy like, you think of guys like Todd Helton, Larry Walker, that have been good players. But, I've never thought of I can't think of a catcher. Could Drew Romo be your catcher at some point? Could that be your future catcher? You got Ryan Rolison. Ryan Rolison, I think he's a pretty underrated prospect, honestly. Ryan Rolison, he didn't have good numbers, but I do like his grades. If you take a look, I love guys that have control. He doesn't have a big fastball, but he relies on a good curveball, a pretty good slider, and a changeup as well. So this is a guy, I feel like he's a steady kind of a guy. So look out for Ryan Rolison. Again, that slider, I think that can be key. Curveballs have tended not to really work in Coors Field very much, but sliders have shown to really work. So if Ryan Rolison can get this slider going, I think he can end up being a pretty good, dependable guy for the Rockies down the road. Again, Drew Romo is a guy I'm pretty excited for. 312 at-bats last year. But look at this, 23 stolen bases as a catcher. He's very good in the field. He has a good arm. It's crazy, you don't ever see catchers like that. I feel like you're starting to see this next generation of catchers that are a little more athletic and they could do a little bit more. So Drew Romo looks to be your future catcher. We'll have to wait and see. But again, you got Zach Veen here at the top. This guy in the minor leagues last year, he was really good in the lower levels of the minor leagues, but he hit over 300, had almost a 400 on base, a 500 slugging, 15 homers, 36 stolen bases. Zach Veen right now is killing it for the Rockies. Again, I don't think he's gone very high. I think he's at A-ball. Yeah, he only was at A-ball last year, but good grief, those numbers are stupid. Look out for Zach Veen, man. I think it's going to be a couple of years before we see him. I don't think you'll see him next year. I think that would be a little too fast, unless he's just blowing the roof off the place. But I think 2023, I think Zach Veen is a guy you could definitely see in a couple of years. So the Rockies, and then they also just got Benny Montgomery. He's number 2 on Pipeline. But as for Baseball America's top 10, they have him at number 5. So, again, just drafted. Benny Montgomery is a project kind of a guy. There's a lot of athleticism with here. That's why you see Extreme here with a 55 overall. But there's a lot to like about him. The hit tool is really low right now. He has a bit of an awkward kind of a swing, but when he gets into it, he really can drive the ball. But he's got good speed. He's good in the field. He's got a good arm, good power. So, Benny Montgomery, look out for him. Yeah, last year in a short sample size, small sample size, he had 340, 47 at-bats. So, Benny Montgomery, can we keep seeing the progression of him? Moving on, number 23, we got the Phillies. They got a couple of guys. One guy in particular, Bryson Stott. I think this is an interesting one for the Phillies, where right now, Didi Gregorius is not guaranteed that shortstop job. Could Bryson Stott, who just played well in Arizona fall ball, could he end up winning that position out of spring training? Maybe. This is what Baseball America is saying. After years of underwhelming talent coming through the pipeline, Philadelphia has bet on prep pitching in the first round of consecutive drafts. Mick Abel and Andrew Painter are exciting young pitching prospects. I really wanted Mick Abel, man, in that draft in 2020. But outside of shortstop Bryson Stott, the Phillies have very little coming in the short term. So, that's pretty much it for the Phillies. You got guys that are pretty far away. Fangraphs, they actually are not as friendly as Baseball America. They have them at number 27. So, again, you got a lot of these guys in the 45 through 35 range. So, they got depth. It's just a matter of can player development really get these guys going. So, let's actually go to the Phillies top 10. I believe Mick Abel is going to be number 1 here, and then you'll see Bryson Stott. No, they have Andrew Painter as number 2. Bryson Stott, number 3. You got someone like Johan Rojas, but he's pretty I don't think he's not that far away. What has he been doing? Let's go Johan Rojas on the Phillies. Here we go. They have him at number 6. He's projected for 2023. Last year, okay, so he was in high A ball. He actually did hit pretty well in 17 games in high A ball. He hit 344. So, Johan Rojas. This was I believe, an international signing. Yeah, 2018. 21 years old. He's got a good run tool, 60 run. He's a pretty balanced hitter, 50 hit, 50 power. So more speed right now, but could Johan Rojas maybe push the envelope here this next year in the minor leagues? But Mick Abel, you're probably not going to really see much of him for the next couple of years. This is a guy they're really going to work with here. Yeah, he had 14 starts last year in A-ball, 4.43 ERA, 66 Ks in 44 innings. So Mick Abel is he's a kid. He's 20 years old, so we'll have to see what he can end up doing. Andrew Painter is a guy I really liked out of this draft this past year. I think he was a bit underrated in this draft because he kind of came off as boring almost. Like he didn't really have he's got good stuff, but he was just all around like a pretty solid pitcher. You were hearing about all these other pitchers in the draft last year. Jackson Jobe going number 3, Kumar Rocker, Jack Leiter. But Andrew Painter, this is a guy he's a 13th pick. Look out for him. I think he could end up being a pretty underrated guy. And last year he had 4 games, 6 innings in rookie ball. He didn't give up any runs, so there's still a lot to go. There's a long way to go for Painter. But, you got to like what you see here. 60 fastball, 55 curve, 55 changeup, 55 control. This is a guy that can really turn into something down the road. But still very far away. You got other guys here. Matt Vierling. This is a guy I think you're going to see a lot of in the next year. I'm telling you, I think Matt Vierling could be a pretty underrated guy. He had some pretty solid numbers last year with the Phillies. And he has some pretty good advanced numbers as well. So look out for him. I think this is a guy I'm going to look at as a guy that could end up having a breakout season next year. Kind of a under the radar kind of a guy. Rafael Marchand. I feel like I've heard of him for a little bit now. But Rafael Marchand, if we take a look, he was the number 1 catcher in their system. But it looks like Logan O'Hoppe has exceeded him as the organization's top catcher. Taking a look, 60 arm, 60 field, 55 power, 50 hit. So as of right now, Logan O'Hoppe has overtaken Rafael Marchand, where, as you can see here, he did not have a good stat line last year. He really struggled, but his fielding is where it's at. So Rafael Marchand, this is a guy, I believe he's in the top 5 in the Phillies system at one point. So, but look out. Hans Kraus. This is a guy I think. They just acquired Hans Kraus at the trade deadline this past year in the Kyle Gibson, Ian Kennedy trade. I believe that's how they got him. Yes. But Hans Kraus, there's a lot to like with him. He's got a good fastball, good slider, good changeup. They got a pretty deep starting rotation as of right now. Do they have him projected for the rotation? Because if not, this is a guy who could go in the bullpen. Oh, they have him as the number 5 guy. So I think Hans Kraus could be a guy to really make maybe a bit of an impact for the Phillies this year. I think everyone, we're looking at the Mets, we're looking at the Braves. I think the Phillies are this team where I think they're wondering, is this team good enough? Are they, they went on a bit of a run last year and they just couldn't quite close the deal. So could some of these prospects really end up helping them? Again, Matt Vierling is a guy, could you see Bryson Stott emerge as your shortstop next year? I definitely think that's a possibility. So keep an eye out for it. Moving on here, number 22, we have the Atlanta Braves, the World Series champion Atlanta Braves. Taking a look here, you got a lot of prospects to like in this Braves system. I think it's just the depth of the organization. A lot of these lower level teams, you're going to have some fun guys at the top. They're going to be more top heavy. But for the Braves, there's a lot to like, especially in their top 10. So as we can see here, the Braves had the number 1 farm system in 2018, and that young talent helped the Braves win the World Series in 2021. The system still has some excellent top-end prospects like Michael Harris II and Shea Langeliers, but the depth is almost gone, partly because of the international. That was a big thing with the Braves because they had that whole thing. I don't know. I can't remember exactly what happened, but I think there was like tampering or they were doing something against the rules. They were in violation of something with international signing. I don't remember exactly what happened, but they ended up losing a lot of international draft signings. So they lost all, I think they lost all their money. So something like that. But the Braves, there is a lot to like here with the Atlanta Braves in their system. One guy is Drew Waters, where this was a guy I think a lot of people were looking out for, but he didn't quite put it together last year. Only hit 240, 11 homers, 37 RBIs. So he had 28 stolen bases. I think Drew Waters is a guy, he really just needs to figure it out this next year. Michael Harris, this is a guy last year in A-ball, hit 294, 7 homers, 27 stolen bases. So can he keep it going? Christian Pache, the number one guy here on Pipeline, really struggled at the plate. He's going to give you a heck of a glove. He's got an 80 field. So, and a 70 arm and a 70 run. Pache is someone you don't have to worry about in the field. He's basically like a young Andrew Jones out there, just incredible in the field. But Christian Pache, the bat is a bit of an issue. So let's actually go to the Braves here. Let's go to the Baseball America's top 10. So Michael Harris is your number one on Baseball America. You got Langeliers, and then Pache has dropped down to number 3. So Pache, as of right now, they're giving him a 40 hit. So that really needs to improve. The fact that his defense is phenomenal, if he can just get that back going, this could be a top outfielder in the game. So I'm looking out for Christian Pache this year. Absolutely. Taking a look as well, Shea Langeliers, I know you got Travis d'Arnaud there as of right now. Let me actually go to the Atlanta Braves on Fangraphs. As of right now, yes, Travis d'Arnaud still projected to be your catcher. I think that's going to stay the same. I think with a Shea Langeliers, this is a guy who has a good amount of power, 55 power, not much of a hit tool as of right now, but he's got a big arm. He's good in the field. So he was in AAA last year. Could he end up maybe pushing the issue, or at least maybe be the backup catcher to Travis d'Arnaud? Have to wait and see. Last year, a little bit of a low batting average and an on base for a minor leaguer, but he had 22 homers. So this is a guy I could definitely see Langeliers. Maybe he comes up to the majors next year as a backup, and, worst comes to worst, he's going to be at least give you some kind of power, as maybe he gets a start or two every week, and I think Langeliers could be a guy. He could end up being your back. Well, they actually did just sign Manny Pena. So Manny Pena is there for defense, basically. But could you, if he goes down, could you see Langeliers take over as your backup guy? I'll have to wait and see. But I think for the Braves, you got a lot to like. You got a lot to like, even though they're only ranked number 22. Coming in at number 21, ooh, look at the Padres coming in at number 21. Oh, my goodness. Oh, how depressing is that? You had the number one farm system, and you didn't even make the playoffs last year. What the heck are the San Diego Padres doing here? But taking a look, they're very top-heavy. They're very top-heavy. And I was saying this when they got Yu Darvish. I went on the Twitter machine, the oh-so-wonderful land of Twitter, and where everyone, on there just seems to have the most common sense. I said something where I was like, man, they got Yu Darvish, but what prospects do they have left? And everyone came after me. I've said the story a million times, but everyone came after me saying like, oh my goodness, this guy's an idiot, blah, 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 blah. And I'm thinking, I don't know. I'm just looking at their farm system, and it's pretty top heavy at the moment. They got no depth anymore. They've gotten rid of everyone. But anyway, you still have a lot to like here. CJ Abrams, he went down with a knee injury last year. Robert Hassel is looking like maybe he could end up being a really good outfielder at some point. You still got Luis Campusano. That's the one thing with the Padres. They've definitely hugged their top prospects. They don't want to give them up. Mackenzie Gore, I think that's the big one. That's, I think, out of right now, the Padres, you're looking at what they're doing in the major leagues. Right now, they're trying to replenish that farm system. But these top guys, it's crazy to see Mackenzie Gore as your fourth guy. He was dealing with, some health problems and mechanical issues last year. Everything got out of whack with him. But when he came back and he pitched down the stretch, I think he might have been in, where did they have him? I think he might have been at rookie ball. Let's actually go here. Padres. I don't remember where they put him. I don't think he was very high. But I think he was in rookie ball. I think he had 3 starts. Because as you can see here, he was in AAA. He was getting hit around. He just, his mechanics were all out of whack. And then I think they had him go to rookie ball. He had 3 starts, and he looked a lot better. He's got a bit of a funky delivery, so I can definitely see, someone like Mackenzie Gore going through some mechanical kind of issues. But there's still a lot to like with him. Taking a look at Mackenzie Gore, they have him as an extreme risk of a prospect right now. But this is a guy, he's got a 4-pitch mix, 60 fastball, 60 slider, 55 curve, 55 changeup. It's the control. He walks a lot of guys. Again, the mechanical issues were a problem. If this guy had it all together last year, I think the Padres would have seen much better results. Maybe it wouldn't have completely helped them get to the playoffs, but their pitching depth last year really struggled, and it really fell apart. So Mackenzie Gore, this is the guy I am looking for. He's on the 40-man roster. So can he make it? Spring training, can he show that he's overcome his issues? We'll have to wait and see, but there's a lot to like with him. But taking a look, Luis Campusano, is this a guy that we could see at some point this year? He had a pretty good year in the minor leagues last year. So he got Aaron Nola under control until 2025. So you don't have to rush Campusano. But if Nola goes down with an injury, could you see Campusano really, take that job and, grab it by the horns? Maybe. Robert Hassel. This is a guy last year. He hit 300, almost a 400 on base, 34 stolen bases. I mean, good grief. Robert Hassel in the minor leagues last year. He could be they're saying here he could be in Double-A in 2022 as a 20-year-old. He's an all-star in the making if he unlocks his power potential. So as you can see here, 11 home runs. But hey, he's 6'2", 195 pounds. Please, Robert Hassel, if for some reason you're watching this, please go to the store right now, get a gallon of whole milk, go make some sandwiches, get some calories, go pump the iron, my friend. You got to get that power going, my friend. We got to get this going because you can hit like crazy. We just got to get a little more pop here. But Robert Hassel definitely has a future. Absolutely. CJ Abrams, this is an exciting prospect here. A very athletic kid. Ended up getting hurt. But, remember, Trey Turner was a guy that was on the Padres before he got traded in that 3-way trade with the Rays and the Nationals. Could CJ Abrams be, that guy that Trey Turner was, supposed to be for the Padres before they traded him? He definitely has that ceiling, a 65 overall grade right now. That's near the top. As of right now, the San Diego Padres, CJ Abrams, is the number 9 prospect in all of Major League Baseball right now. So this is a guy I'm looking to see what he can do. Can he keep climbing up the ladder in the minor leagues? Padres, as of right now, pretty much the gist. They're very top heavy. You got a lot of younger guys in that system, international guys. It's going to be a little bit before you see some of these guys after the top 5. But in the top 5, I definitely think. Ooh, Mazman just subscribed. Mazman, what's going on, my friend? But yeah, the top 5 right now with the Padres, that's their strength. So after that, a little up in the air. But there's still stuff to like with the Padres system. Absolutely. Mackenzie Gore, if he can get it together. Ooh. Number 20. We have the Miami Marlins. Huh. Interesting. Really? The Miami Marlins. Wow. Number 20? I don't know about that. Wow. Number 11 on Fangraphs. I don't know about that. I think the Marlins might be a little low here. Wow. Take a look at this. Wow, you got some pitching prospects here. Look at the pitching. Look at the pitching. And you have Max Meyer as the number 74 prospect right now. The only reason he's number 74 is because of his size. Max Meyer was just filthy in the minor leagues last year. Edward Cabrera, we really saw a lot of growth from him last year. Sixto Sanchez right now. I mean, yes, he was dealing with, arm problems last year, but obviously we saw Sixto Sanchez in 2020. They just added Khalil Watson. Yuri Perez is a guy to really keep an eye out for. This guy climbed through the minor league system really like a lot last year. Yuri Perez, that's a name I don't think a lot of people have heard of, because when you think of the Marlins here, You're thinking of Sixto Sanchez. You're thinking of Edward Cabrera. You're even thinking of Max Meyer, a guy they drafted in 2020. You're also thinking of Khalil Watson. But Yuri Perez is a guy you don't hear a lot of. What is that Twitter account? The guy drives me absolutely insane sometimes with some of the things that he throws out there. What is his Twitter name? MLB Nerds or something like that. This guy, he put out like his top 10 underrated prospects, for right now. And I'm thinking like half of these prospects on there were guys that just got drafted. Like they just were drafted this past year. And I'm like, can you count? I mean, I don't know. I wouldn't be putting any of those guys in my top 10 underrated prospects because it's like they just got drafted. Could we at least see what they do first? But man, there was one guy who I feel like he really, again, I don't agree with a lot of, this guy said, this guy drove me insane. He said, I heard him talking to Giraffe Neck Mark on Twitter, and they were talking about Adam Wainwright. And this guy said, I can think of 80 pitchers. He said 80 pitchers that are better than Adam Wainwright right now. And I'm like, what? Like Adam Wainwright? I mean, sure, yeah, like Adam Wainwright, he's not going to give you dominating stuff. I mean, but this is a guy where he's a veteran guy and he has perfected his craft, to where he has reinvented himself and he can pitch very well. Maybe doesn't have the dominant stuff, but I'm thinking this guy's saying there's 80 pitchers better than Adam Wainwright. I mean, maybe you could maybe say like, if you're looking at starting pitchers, I don't know about that. I think that's very out of the question. If you're looking at starters and maybe relievers, I don't know, 80. I'm looking at starting pitchers. There's no way there's 80 guys that are better than Adam Wainwright. MLB Nerds, please. But one guy that he didn't put in his list, whatever you guys think of him, I don't know, but he didn't put Yuri Perez. And this is a guy, he is very underrated. Look at Yuri Perez. Look at the numbers that he put up last year in 20 games. A 1.96 ERA, 108 strikeouts, only 26 walks, 78 innings pitched. Like, these are really good numbers. And look at what he has. He really, like, this guy's 6'8", 200 pounds. He was an international signing in 2019. He only had a $200,000 signing bonus. That's pretty much nothing. And this guy has really grown. He completely shot up the Marlins prospect list last year. He was just climbing and climbing and climbing and climbing. Look out for Yuri Perez. I'm telling you, he's only 18 years old, and he's putting up those kind of numbers in the minor leagues right now. You don't see 18-year-olds putting up those kind of numbers in the minor leagues. Not very often. Look out for him. He's number 6 on the pipeline rankings. But on Baseball America, he is number 1. So I'm telling you, look out for Yuri Perez. I don't know. When I'm looking, I would say, if we're looking at Fangraphs here, again, they have them at number 11. You definitely have a lot of guys in this lower range, but you got 4 guys in the 50 range. You got 1 in the 55. I feel like Baseball America, I think you got to put them up a little bit higher than this. Maybe, somewhere around 15 at least. I could maybe, agree to, meet in the middle. Maybe not top 10, maybe, but definitely not 20. I think they deserve to be a little higher than this. They got a lot of guys. But it's very pitching rich, like it says right here. But this Marlins team, do not sleep on this Marlins team next year. I'm telling you, they got better pitching depth than the Marlins. I could even argue maybe they have better depth than the Braves right now. Maybe that's not even much of an argument, really. The Marlins have a lot of pitching. If they could add a bat, I'm telling you, this Marlins team could be really good, and they could really ride a lot of this depth through that regular season. These guys can give you a chance to win. If we look at the Marlins next year, especially if Sixto Sanchez can come back healthy, oh my. You got Alcantara, Rogers balled out last year, Pablo Lopez. Look out for Eliezer Hernandez too. I think this is a guy. He's like a Pedro with less velocity. honestly. Jesus Luzardo, if you can get this guy going. The Marlins, man, I'm excited for the Marlins. But on Baseball America, they come in at number 20. At number 19, look at the Toronto Blue Jays. Look at the Toronto Blue Jays coming in at number 19. Well, hey, the Blue Jays, trading away Austin Martin, that's definitely going to put a dent into your farm system ranking, as well as a Simeon Woods Richardson. Of course, that's going to send you down a little bit. Nate Pearson didn't really grow. He didn't graduate as like you thought he would last year. He's the number 62 overall. Gabriel Moreno, this is a guy. Look out for Gabriel Moreno. This is I believe, their catcher of the future. He's the number 7 prospect right now on Baseball America. This is what Baseball America has to say. While Major League acquisitions have thinned Toronto's farm system, breakout seasons by catcher Gabriel Moreno, as well as both Aurelvis Martinez and Otto Lopez, soften the blow. The Blue Jays feature a young prospect group with a majority of their best talent having never played above High A. So that's one thing where they have good guys in this system, but a lot of them are, I would say, far away at this point. There's some guys near the top that could be close. So I think Moreno, I feel like that might be asking maybe a little much right now, where they're projecting him for 2022. If we look at his numbers from last year, he was in AAA. Could he make that jump to the major leagues this year? Is that going to be like a Joey Bart kind of a situation with the Giants, where Joey Bart looked like he was primed to be in the major leagues, and you never even saw him last year? So, it's not like you really needed to, with Buster Posey having a good year. But Gabriel Moreno in AA last year, 32 games, hit .373, 8 homers, 45 RBIs. But it's not just the bat. Take a look at what he can do in the field as well. He's got, 50 field, 55 arm. Pretty solid out there in the field too. So he's an all-around guy. Let me actually go to what Baseball America has to say. Let's see what grades they have for him. They are giving him more in the arm, and they're giving him more in the field, but he's got a 70 hit. His bread and butter, as you can see with the stats, is the bat. He's going to hit the ball like crazy, but he can get it done in the field as well. They say for him, scouts believe Moreno has a chance to be a perennial all-star, potential plus to plus hitter who could hit 20 to 25 homers. Could we see him contribute in 2022? Could we end up seeing kind of a Joey Bart kind of a thing where he looks like he's ready to go, but you never even really see him? Could he end up helping out? We'll have to wait and see. One guy I find interesting is Nate Pearson. Could this guy finally emerge next year? We'll have to wait and see. Nate Pearson, I think we all know the stuff with Nate Pearson. 65 fastball, 50 curve, 60 slider, 60 changeup. The control he does struggle with a little bit, but he had some problems with the hip last year, or his groin, I believe, and he ended up missing a lot of times. So this is a guy, he's just going to grip it and rip it. He's going to throw with velocity, but that's where maybe some durability concerns come in with him. So people wonder, could this guy end up being just a very good reliever? Could this guy end up being your closer for the Blue Jays? They could definitely use some bullpen help. I absolutely think that. But Nate Pearson, there's a lot of potential with him. Aurelvis Martinez, as of right now, this is a guy, really keep an eye out for him. The fielding, maybe not as smooth with the 45, but he has a good arm. Sounds like a third baseman, if you ask me. But, hey, 50 hits, 60 power. He had 28 home runs last year. That's definitely something to keep an eye out for. Jordan Groshans, this is a guy we hear about a lot, especially when it comes to potential trades. But Jordan Groshans, drafted in the first round in 2018. He's an all-around pretty balanced hitter. Maybe could use a little bit more power. As you can see, only had 7 home runs last year, over 278 at-bats. But I just think overall, if he can, it looks like, the hitting is really nothing to worry about with him. But can he tap into that power a little bit? Have to wait and see. Gunnar Hoglund, who they just drafted, he had Tommy John, so he is an extreme risk right now. But I'm a Gunnar Hoglund fan. I really think he reminds me of Lucas Giolito. He has a really good repertoire. He's got a big fastball, but he's got a good slider. He's got a good changeup. But look at the control. 70 control. Could he end up being like Lucas Giolito down the road where they drafted him, but he needed Tommy John? So look out for Gunnar Hoglund. We're not going to see him for a while, but you got guys like Otto Lopez here. Kevin Smith. Could Kevin Smith maybe contribute in some way next year? Looks like a pretty solid guy. Give you some depth. But overall, the Blue Jays, they traded away Austin Martin and Simeon Woods Richardson, but there's to get Jose Barrios, but there's still a lot of guys here to like. So they come in at number 19. Would I maybe put I feel like the Blue Jays ahead of maybe the Marlins at number 20 isn't so crazy. I got to see who else is on this list, but where they rank. The Blue Jays, I could argue the Blue Jays and the Marlins could be a little higher on this list. Retro Baseball. What is going on? Everyone, go follow Retro Baseball. He makes good videos over there. Retro, thank you for stopping by. How about that ESPN list today? Ugh. ESPN is complete and utter garbage. I hate that company. I just went up a little too quick. Here we go. St. Louis Cardinals, number 18. Ooh, I feel like the Cardinals might be a little high here. Could you maybe drop the Cardinals down to 20 and put the Marlins and the Blue Jays in front? I don't know. I feel like the Cardinals might be a little high here, but I do like some of the guys. Here. You got Jordan Walker, Nolan Gorman, Matthew Liberatore. You got 3 guys in, the top 100 here. Got 3 guys in the top 50. Jordan Walker, he's, look out for him. This could be a Jermaine Dye in the future. But Nolan Gorman, this is a guy, could we see him? I think you could see Matthew Liberatore this year. But Jordan Walker is the star of the show. Jordan Walker's smashing pro debut and the continued ascent of Nolan Gorman and Liberatore combined to give the Cardinals 3 premium prospects. The depth of the system falls off quickly. That's why I don't like the Cardinals right here, because I feel like they got these 3 guys here that are definitely very good and they got some potential. But after that, I feel like you don't have a lot, where the Blue Jays, they got some more guys. And then the Marlins, I feel like the Marlins should be higher here. I would personally put the Cardinals at number 20. As of right now, from what we've gone through, I would put the Marlins at least at 18. So I don't know if I agree with the Cardinals being in this spot, but I do like these 3 guys. Let's go take a look at these guys really quick. But St. Louis, their major league team, I think, is built to win this year. I really like that Cardinals team. But having someone like Matthew Liberatore, who I think is really close. This is a guy who's a top pitching prospect at one point. Remember, he was in the Randy Arozarena trade with the Rays. He was a former Ray. Could he end up helping that pitching staff down the road? You got some guys here. Ivan Herrera could end up maybe being a decent catcher down the road. Mason Wynn, 2-way player. There's a lot to like with Mason Wynn coming out of high school. Joshua Baez, big bat. Hey, Lars Nootbaar. Remember Lars Nootbaar? I think we saw a bit of him in the major leagues last year. Let's pull up the Cardinals. Nootbaar. They don't even have Nootbaar on this list. I guess they consider him graduated. But with Mason Wynn, it looks like he's gonna stop pitching. But focus more on the hitting. Not really too much of the hit tool right now, but he's very athletic. And he's got a good arm, obviously, because he could pitch and he could throw hard. Jordan Walker, I'm telling you, next Jermaine Dye. Look out for Jordan Walker. Big guy, 6'5", 220 pounds. Well, look at the numbers that he put up last year. Overall, he was in high A ball last year. He's a guy with a good head on his shoulders. Jordan Walker, man, I really liked him coming out of that 2020 draft. So no surprise here. Look what he did last year. Hit 292, 8 homers. Come on, he had 13 stolen bases as well. So he's only 19 years old. I think Jordan Walker, this is a guy. I don't think you're going to see him this year, but I think 2023, you could definitely see maybe him come up at some point. They have him at 2024 here. But the guy that I know Nolan Gorman is number 1 on this list. They have him at number 2 here, and they got Jordan Walker. Funny enough, Pipeline has Jordan Walker at number 3, but they have him at number 1 on Pipeline, or on Baseball America. And then number 2 for Liberatore. on Pipeline and number 3 for Baseball America. I really like Liberatore. He's a medium risk. When you have a medium risk, there's a good chance you're going to pan out as a pretty good, dependable guy. But he's overall, just look at the balance here. 55 fastball, 55 slider, 55 curve, 55 changeup, 55 control. He's a 55 kind of a guy. Says here he has a well-rounded arsenal to be a solid number 3. This is why I think you could see Liberatore. I believe he also just pitched for Team USA. Could be wrong on that. Let me know if I'm wrong. But I think Liberatore. Oh, so where were the Cardinals here? They're number 20 here. I don't know. They were 20 at midseason. I would have kept them here. I think this was a good spot for them, and I think it's still a good spot for them. But what can you do? Liberatore, I'm looking out for him. I'm telling you, when it comes to championship winning teams, you need to have organizational depth. Is Liberatore a guy they can turn to? You know, they got some, Michaelis, you got Dakota Hudson, they're coming off of some injuries, if they go down, could Liberatore be a guy you turn to? I think he's going to have to take a big step. He had an ERA in the 4s last year. It didn't seem like he, was as good as they probably wanted him to be. So I think you could see him probably start out at AAA next year, maybe start off at AA. But where was he last year? Where did he get to? He was at AAA last year. So I would imagine that he's probably going to be in AAA unless he wins a job out of spring training. But I would imagine you want to see a little bit better with that ERA. So, Cardinals coming in at number 18. Coming in at number 17, the San Francisco Giants. The Giants, there's a lot to like with the Giants. And I feel like this might be a little low. I feel like the Giants should be up a little higher. Number 17. Number 17. Oh, Bass Fishing Fuels. Take a look at our first round pick, McGreevy. Hey, McGreevy, a big control kind of a guy. I think there's a lot to like with McGreevy. Could he end up making his way through the minor leagues pretty quickly? I definitely think so. Also, I see you, STO Cardinals 46. I like Baez as well. Joshua Baez, man. This guy can hit balls to the moon. We'll have to see. But the Giants coming in at number 17. I don't know. I feel like that's a little low. If we take a look at Fangraphs, as of right now, they have the Giants at number 6. So I don't know about Baseball America here. I like a lot of these Giants prospects. Luciano. Look how many top 100 guys they have. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You got 5 guys in the top 100. San Francisco's lower levels featured breakout seasons from some of its best prospects, including Luis Matos, Jairo Pomares, and Kyle Harrison. Kyle Harrison's a guy, if you want to talk underrated prospects, MLB nerds, where you at? Kyle Harrison. I'm telling you, this is an underrated guy. Look out for him. Marco Luciano. I think Joey Bart, too. Joey Bart right now, it looks like he's going to be the guy to be your catcher. There's a lot to like here with the San Francisco Giants. I find it a little surprising that they're coming in at number 17. Maybe Baseball America is thinking their lower levels are a little dry. But let's take a look. San Francisco here. And again, they have them at number 6. You got 1 guy in the 60s. You got 4 guys in the 50s. 3 in the 45 plus. 4 in the 45s. I think you got to put them up higher. I don't like this spot. But let's see what they got. Again, Marco Luciano, Joey Bart here, Luis Matos, Heliot Ramos. These are 2 guys. Probably more, maybe see them in the next couple of years. Kyle Harrison. You just drafted Will Bednar as well. Just won a College World Series. There's a lot. Jairo Pomares, he performed well last year. Taking a look here. Let's go to Pipeline. Luciano last year, I believe he had a good season in the minor leagues. Okay, it wasn't like great. Well, no, he had 19 home runs. So hit 258, 344 on base. Could be better. But this is an international guy. He's got a 65 power tool. So, again, Joey Bart looks like he's going to be the guy. Heliot Ramos. Could you see him this year? Heliot Ramos, last year, he just didn't perform as well as maybe you would want him to. Only hit 254. Only had an on-base of 323. AAA, he was in AAA. He hit 270 there. He actually did better in AAA than he did AA. So, but yeah, maybe could we end up seeing Heliot Ramos at some point? They could definitely use some bats. Maybe we do see Heliot Ramos at some point this year. Kyle Harrison. I'm telling you, this is a guy. I really like Kyle Harrison. Last year in Single A, they drafted him, I believe, 3rd round. Yeah, 85th pick. So lots of like. Lefty out of high school. 60 fastball, 55 slider, 50 changeup. I mean, come on. And he put up good numbers last year. 23 starts, 3.19 ERA. He had 157 strikeouts in 98 innings. Yeah, maybe needs to get those walks down a little bit at 52 walks, but I like Kyle Harrison, man. I do. It's just it's the control with him. But look at the grades here. Good solid grades for a 20-year-old. Or is he 20? I believe he's 20. Yeah, he's 20 years old. It's a lot to like. So Kyle Harrison, I think he's an underrated prospect. Keep an eye out for him. But I think the Giants personally should be higher than this. But I like what they have here at the top. Again, looking like Joey Barr. That's going to be probably the guy that you turn to next. He did well in the minors last year. You'd like to maybe see a little bit more power. 10 home runs. Let me actually go to Joey Bart's stat line. So he was for 2 games last year, but overall, he had, let's see here, in AAA, 252 at-bats. 82 strikeouts is actually kind of a bit. Not a lot of walks. He still had a 358 on base, though. So, but yeah, Joey Bart, you would like to see a little bit more power with him. That's something that Joey Bart he can definitely get into some balls there. You know, not much of a hit tool. Surprisingly enough, but he hit 290 last year. But the power's there. But looking like he's going to be your next catcher, unless they do something this offseason. But I would find it crazy if he's not your starting catcher next year. Here we go. Moving on to number 16. We have the New York Mets. The New York Mets coming in at number 16. Almost halfway. I don't know. The Mets in front of the Giants here? I don't know, man. I don't know. I think the Giants so far have been kind of shafted a little bit on this list. I think the Blue Jays and Marlins could be up a little bit higher. Personally, if I'm looking at just what we have right now, I'm putting the Cardinals at 20. And probably the Mets at number 19. Probably maybe the Blue Jays at 18. Marlins at 17 and Giants at 16. At least so far. That's how I would rework it right now. I think the Mets are a little too high here. I do like some of their prospects. I do like Alvarez. I do like Beatty. And I like Ronnie Mauricio. But I feel like Ronnie Mauricio right now, I feel like with Mauricio, he's a bit more potential at this point, but let's see what Baseball America has to say. The Mets have a strong group of position prospects at the top of their system with Francisco Alvarez, Brett Beatty, Ronnie Mauricio, and there's also Mark Vientos. Will the Mets maybe part with him in a trade? I wonder. I don't know about that, though. The Mets don't have as much pitching that could help this year at the major league level, but they have a number of lower-level arms that intrigue, mostly acquired internationally or in the 2021 draft. So if we're taking a look here, the Mets, as of right now, they're number 15. So at number 16, I'm okay. I think the Mets are middle of the road. I just personally think right now, teams like the Giants and the Marlins have better farm systems than the Mets. But let's take a look at the Mets. What do the Mets got? Looking at the Mets here. So you do have, if we're looking at pitching, so right now you're looking at guys like Matt Allen, JT Ginn. You do have Junior Santos. That's a guy to keep an eye out for. But you're seeing a lot of guys here in the 40s. I mean, maybe that could just be due to their age. Because right now, do they have their age here? So you got, you got one guy here who's 18. You got one guy here who's 20. You got Robert Dominguez, who's about to turn 20. Junior Santos is 20 years old. But, they definitely have some pretty young. They have a few young guys here. Calvin Ziegler, 18 years old. But I just think there's more potential at this point with the Mets. Thomas Zappucki, I feel like this is a guy we heard of a little bit in the Mets system. We haven't really seen a lot of him as of right now. If we're taking a look at RPM fastballs, Riley Gilliam as of right now. He's the number 16 prospect in their system. He has a 2,600 RPM fastball. Pretty decent spin rate there. Matt Allen, this is a guy, he's number 4 in their system. Matt Allen, there's a bit to like about him. Let's actually go take a look at Mr. Matt Allen. So, going to the Mets. We're 150 people strong right now. I appreciate everyone coming out tonight. I feel like this is the most people we've had since the lockout. So, I appreciate everyone stopping by. But Alvarez, this is your catcher of the future. Definitely a lot to like with Alvarez. Mainly the hitting, a 60 hit and a 60 power. 50 field is okay, but he's got a 55 arm, so they definitely want him to develop more. He's 20 years old, but probably should see a lot of time at Double A. I would see you're probably not going to really see much of him this year. You still have James McCann up in the major leagues, but Alvarez, this is a guy. Keep an eye out for Mr. Alvarez here. Brett Beatty. Hey, he's got a 60 grade. Overall, I mean, had a good season. Batting average was good. On base was good. Slugging was very good. Maybe a bit more power is something you'd like to see. But overall, that will come. I think that's eventually, if you're showing how good of a hitter you are and it says here, he's also very disciplined. So Brett Beatty, it's like a nice problem to have. You have someone like Brett Beatty. You got Mark Vientos there. Mark Vientos is, I feel like, more of a power guy at this point from the third base spot. But Brett Beatty seems to be more of a complete hitter. So it says here he made a ton of progress in 2021. Looks like a future regular, potentially an impact one. His rise to Double A and tryout in left field. But they are putting him in other positions, so maybe. And I think this is really what the Mets need. They need organizational depth. They need guys that they can turn to in the minor leagues. You can't just be running these guys out in the major leagues. Hey, Max Scherzer's going to have to probably miss a start or two. Could Jacob deGrom end up going down again with some forearm problems? You got to be able to turn to some guys. Look at the injuries that they were having with their position players last year. Brandon Nimmo was a guy. There were a lot of guys that were going down. So you need to be able to turn to some of these guys in your minor league system. And could Brett Beatty be the next guy that they turn to offensively? We'll have to wait and see. Ronnie Mauricio, not really a lot with the numbers last year, but he had 20 home runs and 11 stolen bases. Again, he's a very international signing in 2017. A lot of potential with him. So the on-base ability, though, the strikeouts, the plate discipline, that's something to keep an eye out for. The power is there, though. So, yeah. Mark Vientos, this is a guy I was just talking about. He had 25 home runs. Like I said, good power. Not too much of a hit tool, but he did hit 281. So, not too bad. But, again, the field, not really much there, but he does have a good arm. Matt Allen, this is a guy, keep an eye out for him. He is, I live right near here. I live right near Sanford. We have an extreme risk, but he is a 60 overall. He had Tommy John. He took his time, but he's probably not going to be ready until after July this year. So he only has 10 innings under his belt. They're going to take their time with him. This is a guy they're not going to be able to turn to. They got some, and JT Ginn as well. This is a guy that needed Tommy John, but there's a lot to like with JT Ginn, drafted in 2020. So they got a couple of guys here, position player-wise, that maybe they could turn to, like someone like Brett Beatty or Mark Vientos. But overall, I think the Mets, I'm okay with this spot because there are some guys to like here. I would probably be in favor. I think the Marlins and the Giants, I like their farm systems a little bit better. But hey, they have the Mets at number 16. So coming in, we're halfway now. Number 15, the Chicago Cubs. They have really come up a long way. If we take a look here, they were 29th in 2019. They were 21st in 2020. Dropped down a little bit to 22nd in 2021, but now they're up to 15. Well, when you trade away guys like Chris Bryant, Anthony Rizzo, Javier Baez, you're going to get some prospects back. Yu Darvish as well. So I really liked what the Cubs were doing with those trades. They were bringing back some quality names. Peter Crow Armstrong, Kevin Alcantara. Man, oh man. I really liked what they were getting back in those trades. Taking a look here. Brennan Davis, this is a guy, could we end up seeing him at some point? Christian Hernandez, a lot of people comparing him to maybe be the next Alex Rodriguez. I'll have to wait and see. But Braylon Marquez, this is a guy, a hard-throwing lefty, had some issues with the shoulder last year. Can he finally get it together? Like I said, Peter Crow Armstrong, Mets fans, they did not like losing him. But Jordan Wicks really liked that draft pick this past year. He had the best changeup in the draft, a lefty guy, more of a control guy, but this is a guy he can dominate with just that changeup alone. Kevin Alcantara getting from the Yankees. You got Owen Casey. They got some depth too. Really like what the Cubs did with these guys. If we take a look at the Cubs as of right now, the Cubs, they actually have on Fangraphs, they have the Cubs at number 7. But if you got a lot of depth. But you got 2 guys in the 50s, you got 1 guy in the 60s, you got 3 guys in the 45s, but they got a lot of young international players too. And they just actually, I think they just signed someone. Taking a look here, I believe they just got someone in the international signings. Who did they get? They got, or did they? I remember they got Christian Hernandez. I thought they did. Okay, you got Aiden Sanchez here out of Panama, the number 22 guy, or the number 22 prospect. Didn't seem like they did a whole lot international-wise. Got Alexis Hernandez. That's Christian Hernandez. Are they related? Oh, yeah. Hernandez is the younger brother of Christian Hernandez. So, got the Hernandez brothers in their system. But they did it. They got a couple of guys. They got Jefferson Rojas. So they added a few guys in the top 50 from this past year's international signings. But yeah, there's a lot to like. But Brennan Davis, this is a guy, I wonder if he's going to be someone that you could see in the next year or two. It says here, Davis has the talent to be an all-star and personality to be a fan favorite in Chicago. His major league debut should come in 2020. So again, like I just said, I feel like Davis is a guy you could see pretty soon. Overall, the on base, when I look at this 260 average, sure, I would like that to be better. But if I'm seeing a good on base, I'm happy with that. If I'm seeing a good slugging, I'm happy with that too. He had 19 home runs. He's an all-around good guy, all-around good player. So, good athlete. Christian Hernandez, he's very far away. Very, very far away. But he gets a lot of comparisons to Alex Rodriguez, an all-around really good hitter. So, very young. We'll have to wait and see. But they say here he's a rare explosive athlete. He's a polished hitter for his age. Excellent bat speed. So, Braylon Marquez, this is a guy where we saw him in 2020 a little bit. I think he struck out Jose Abreu. I don't fully remember. But he's got some stuff. Look at the fastball. That's the best fastball that you can have. 80 fastball, 40 curveballs, not great, but good slider, decent changeup, 45 control. Braylon Marquez, there is a lot to like with him. He just needs to kind of put it together. And the thing with him, too, is his health. The shoulder, he was having some problems with it last year. So they're saying here he has a chance to be a number 2 or 3 starter, but he's got to do a lot of work here. You got to improve the control, got to get healthy. So Braylon Marquez, I think, is a bit of a wild card. I would actually, at this point, I would say he's an underrated prospect because I feel like he's kind of dropped off of a lot of radars, but he has stuff. So Peter Crow Armstrong, I really like that. I love that they got him from the Mets for Javier Baez. Love that. I like Peter Crow Armstrong, high school hitter, good hitter out of high school, but an athlete. 60 speed, 70 field, good arm. I love Jordan Wicks. I really liked him coming out of college. I liked what he had. 70 changeup here, 60 control. He's got an okay fastball. There's I was reading about Jordan Wicks and watching some of his stuff. He's got some life to his fastball where it's a little tough to pick up. So I think this is a guy, he can make his way through the minor leagues pretty quick. He's a college guy out of Kansas State. I think, Jordan Wicks, maybe not see him this year, but you could see him in 2023. Kevin Alcantara, getting him back in the Anthony Rizzo trade. So, hey, Kevin Alcantara, 60 power, that jumps off. He's an all-around pretty good prospect. And look at what he did in the minor leagues last year. Hit 345, a 423 on base, a 588 slugging, over 100 at-bats. You know, Kevin Alcantara, man, international signing in 2018. Have to wait and see. But the Cubs coming in at number 15. Here we go. Number 14, the Minnesota Twins. Interesting. Well, it definitely helps getting Austin Martin and Simeon Woods-Richardson. So, I mean, looking at here, the Minnesota Twins, you got some guys here that quite a few guys in the top 100. Now, you know, I've been ragging on MLB nerds on Twitter a little bit, but I will actually say he put a couple of guys on that list that his top 10 underrated prospects. There were a couple of guys on that list I did agree with, and one guy he had on that list was Jose Miranda. Jose Miranda, yes. Austin Martin, I like Austin Martin a lot. Royce Lewis, I don't know. I'm wondering, Royce Lewis, the clock is ticking here, Royce Lewis. You were the number one pick a few years ago. Hasn't really had a lot of success the last couple of years. I don't think he even really played last year. I think he had something happen with his knee. He had a down year in 2019, I believe. So we got to get something going here with Royce Lewis. I'm still a little surprised he's in the top 100, but I think this is his last shot. But Jose Miranda, this is a guy, keep an eye out for him. The Minnesota Twins, you know, look out for him. If you look here, he's number 8 on in the Twins system on Pipeline. But I believe he's going to be, he's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. He's number 5 for Baseball America in the Twins system. But look at what Jose Miranda did last year. Look at the numbers that he put up. He was in AA and AAA. Look at the numbers. Last year, in 535 at-bats, he hit 344. He had 30 home runs, 94 RBIs. He only struck out 74 times. He had a 401 on base, a 572 slugging. That's mind-boggling. Those numbers are nuts. I mean, good grief. I mean, come on now. Let's go to his grades here. Those are really good numbers. I didn't hear one thing about Jose Miranda last year. So taking a look here, Jose Miranda coming in at number 5. He can play third and second. But I mean, look at the 30 home runs. I mean, look at him. I mean, 55 power, 55 hit. Not really much speed, so it sounds like he's going to be, you know, probably a third baseman, I would believe. I don't know if he's going to be more of a fit for second. He's a 50, but I think his fielding and his athleticism really hamper him. To me, he sounds like a third baseman. A 55 arm. In the field, I mean, yes, you would like to see that be better, but it sounds like he could be a third baseman. You know, Josh Donaldson, does he get hurt and then maybe Miranda end up coming up at some point? I definitely think we could see it. Absolutely. Look out for Jose Miranda. I really do think this is a guy just the numbers he put up last year were stupid. I really like Joe Ryan. They got him in the Nelson Cruz trade. Jordan Balazovic. This is a guy I feel like he could be a steady starter in the major leagues, like a good number 3, number 4 in your rotation. He's a pretty balanced guy. 55 fastball, 55 curve, 50 changeup, 55 control. So I think Balazovic here, you know, he missed some time in 2021. He had some back stuff going on, but he came back, and then in 97 innings, he overall he pitched pretty good. A 3.62 ERA, 97 innings. I think Balazovic, look out for him. I definitely think if he can, you know, keep that back good to go, I think the Twins, they really need some pitching. And I wonder, could Balazovic be a guy that he ends up winning a job out of spring training? I mean, looking at the Twins right now, the Twins, their rotation right now, it's Dylan Bundy. We just talked about Joe Ryan a second ago. Bailey Ober, Randy Dobnak, and Lewis Thorpe. I mean, that's not on paper. That's not the most exciting pitching staff. But Jordan Balazovic, man, I wonder, when is his time going to come? I feel like it's got to be soon. You know, especially with those numbers that he put up last year on Fangraphs. He's the number 2 prospect in their system. I think you're going to see him this year. So last year, I believe, he was in Double A. So I think you're going to see him this year. I think he gets the call, maybe like a, June, July call up. So look out for him. Simeon Richardson. This is a guy last year, he did struggle in the minor leagues. So he's going to have to really get some stuff going here. Austin Martin. This is a guy, he can hit, he can get on base, but the slugging percentage is a little worrisome. It's low, a 383, while he was with, in the Blue Jays system, a 381 when he went over to the Twins. But he's not much of a power guy. He's going to be more of a contact guy. He's going to give you more on base, and he's going to get you hits. He's kind of like this utility guy where, in a way, he kind of reminds me of a Kike Hernandez. He can play multiple positions. He can go play some infield. He can go play some outfield. That's kind of the comparison I give with Austin Martin. An athletic guy. Maybe that power ends up coming eventually, but they got to get something going with him. Royce Lewis again. This is someone where you haven't seen him since 2019. I believe he had something with his knee this past year. I think he had an ACL tear in spring training. So he did have, when he went and played fall ball after 2019, it looked like he did pretty well. Let me actually go to his numbers here. Royce. Goodness, I cannot type. Oh my goodness. Royce Lewis stats. So in fall ball in 2019, taking a look. I mean, look how much he's dropped. In 2019, going into 2019, he was the number 9 prospect. And now he's all the way down to 82. But in fall ball, I mean, he hit really well. He had 22 games. He hit 353, a 411 on base, and a 565 slugging. So if he puts up numbers like that this year, the Twins are going to be stoked because they need a shortstop. I mean, right now, if we're looking at the Twins, I mean, your shortstop, right? I mean, yes, you got Jorge Polanco, but I mean, you could move him around. So Jorge Polanco right now, I believe last year, he played more games at second last year. He did play some short, but I think you'd rather have him as your second baseman. Your second baseman as of right now, you got Luis Arias. Well, I don't know. I guess maybe you're not like dying for him right now, but I mean, if you can get Royce Lewis hitting like he did in fall ball a couple of years ago, I think you're only going to welcome it. The lineup is already really good, so it's not like you're really pressing for a bat. They need more pitching at this point. But I do like the Twins system. I think it's underrated. Honestly, I think there's a lot to like. And Jose Miranda, I'm keeping my eye out for him, man. If this is a guy, if he keeps hitting like he's hitting, they're going to have no choice. So, but taking a look at Fangraphs, they have Minnesota at number 10. So, I'm okay with this spot for them. I think you could go anywhere from 14 to number 10. So, number 13, we got the New York Yankees. We love to hate on the Yankees. I know I do. But the Yankees, there's a lot to like with their farm system. But Yankee fans, I got to have a talk with you. You got to calm down on the prospects, okay? You got to calm down. I got people here, I'm seeing on the Twitter land, all the Yankee fans on Twitter, they're always saying, let's make this blockbuster trade. Let's go sign this guy. Let's go get that guy. But then Brian Cashman ends up doing nothing. Yankee fans, you got to know, Brian Cashman, he's not going to go out there and buy everyone. I'm not saying it's all Yankee fans that think that, but you got to some of you got to calm down out there. The Yankees, I'm just saying. But again, a lot of people in Twitter land, they like to get very excited the Yankee fans like to get very excited about their prospects. Got to calm down a little bit. Honestly, one guy, I'm sorry, but the one guy I feel like that is being really just left out is I'm seeing a lot of people, in Yankee land, they are completely okay with trading Oswald Peraza. Yes, if that gets you Matt Olson, I think you do it. But Oswald Peraza, why can't this guy be your shortstop next year? Anthony Volpe, can we calm down a little bit? Can we calm down? Yes, he was very good in the minor leagues last year. I'm not trying to hate here. I'm just, come on here. We got to calm down a little bit. Anthony Volpe is your number one guy. I get it, but come on. He has not played above A ball right now. He's not gone above A ball. Can we at least wait until he gets to Double A? I know it's exciting. The guy mashed. I mean, he hit 294 last year, 27 home runs. I understand the excitement. However, I'm going to take a look here. I'm looking at the strikeout to walk, or the strikeout to walk ratio. That's very good too. Sorry, I was about to say, I thought the stolen bases were the walks. I was like, wow, 101 to 33. That's not really good. No, that's very good. 101 to 78. Yes, I understand the excitement. I do. And I think he can end up being a really good player. Obviously, he has the grades. He really showed a lot last year. The 30th pick in 2019. Yes, I understand the excitement, but we got to see what he can do in Double A. This guy's, the lights are starting to come onto him a little bit, and he knows there's going to be a lot of eyes on him next year. I'm not saying he can't respond to the pressure, but we'll have to wait and see. You know, Jason Dominguez, this guy, I guess, is the next Mike Trout. I do like the on base last year, but a little underwhelming. 252. He struck out a lot last year, did not walk a lot. The plate discipline is not quite there. But when he went to A ball, he did hit better. When he was in rookie ball, he only played 7 games. So they kind of shot him up to A ball pretty quick. I understood why, but we need to see more out of Jason Dominguez. There's a lot of time. Obviously, I'm not saying, you know, he's not going to be anything. That's not what I'm saying at all. You know, I think Jason Dominguez, this was another guy. Yankee fans on Twitter, oh my God. I think I saw a tweet about Jason Dominguez, I think every day last offseason. This guy's the next Mike Trout. Well, he definitely could be the next Mike Trout. But, you know, you gotta kind of have some patience here. Yes, he's 18 years old. I understand. He's very talented at a young age. But I'm not really looking at Volpe and Dominguez too much. To me, the guy that I'm really thinking is getting snubbed right now is Peraza. This is a guy who did really well last year. Look at what he did last year. Overall in the minor leagues, he hit 297, 18 home runs, 58 RBIs, 38 stolen bases. And the Yankee fans are talking about wanting a shortstop. Well, here you go. It's Oswald Peraza. You don't know what Anthony Volpe is going to be. He could end up just completely just going down the tubes next year. You got no idea. Peraza, he showed in 8 games at AAA last year. I think he can get it done. But Peraza, while he did do well with the bat, he's really good in the field too. He's got a 60 run, 60 arm, 60 field. There's your shortstop. What's the problem? Am I missing something right now with Oswald Peraza? He's going to give you speed, which the Yankees really need. He's going to give you good fielding. I don't see what the problem is with Oswald Peraza being your shortstop. I feel like I've seen no one, maybe 1 or 2 times I've seen it on Twitter, where Peraza, Yankee fans, I've seen maybe 2 times where they are saying, why can't this guy be our shortstop? I agree with those guys. Why can't he be your shortstop? Yes, I understand you want to maybe go get Matt Olson. I think at this point, I think I would rather have Peraza. You know, and if Volpe ends up turning into something, well, you could have Volpe and Peraza as your middle infield, you know, in the next couple of years. Keep Peraza. I'm just saying. Oh, I see someone in the chat. A Yankee King. He wants Peraza to be the next shortstop. Thank you. I'm seeing a Yankee fan that wants to keep Peraza. That to me is that's the one prospect I'm looking at. Keep Peraza. I mean, I don't know. Do you want another power hitting guy in Matt Olson? I get it. Like, yeah, you're going to get a lot of home runs. He's a good hitter, obviously. But to me, I need something done with shortstop. And I'm looking at a shortstop here right in the face. And his name is Oswald. I mean, what a cool name. He's Oswald. That's a fan favorite already, if you ask me. Who remembers that cartoon Oswald of like that? What was that thing? I remember as a kid. What was Oswald? He was like a big old octopus or something like that. Hey, man. I loved Oswald as a kid. Yankee fans, I think you should love Oswald too. But other than him, you got a lot of other guys too. There are some guys. Luis Gil, he had a taste of the major leagues last year. He needs to keep the walks down, but I think Luis Gil, this is a guy, he could definitely give you something. Austin Wells. I think this guy could end up being a really good player for you down the road. Does he stay at catcher? Still looks like he needs some work, but it looks like the Yankees are not... If the Yankees are willing to stick with Gary Sanchez at catcher, I think Austin Wells, whatever problems he may be having at catcher, I mean, come on. Are they gonna, get rid of Austin Wells? I mean, come on, as your catcher. They put up with so much with Gary Sanchez. I mean, that guy's a brick behind the plate. And Austin Wells, I think he's really interesting because the bat is really good. He was a really good hitter at Arizona. But it's just the fielding with him. He's got a 40 field, 40 arm. Could he end up maybe moving? Could he end up being maybe your first baseman down the road? Could that end up happening? But I think the Yankees, last year he only threw out 13% of base stealers. So, again, first base, left field, looks like it could be it. He's got okay speed. I mean, he had 16 stolen bases last year. So, I think he can run around in the outfield. But I think for Austin Wells, he's got a 60 hit tool. That's something to like there. 50 power. MLB nerds, I will give him also a little bit more credit. The guy drives me nuts sometimes with some of the things he says. But in a way, I didn't agree so much. If you're just coming in, you didn't hear me talking about this earlier. MLB nerds on Twitter, he made a top 10 list today where he... a top 10 list of underrated prospects. And he had like 5 guys on there that were just drafted. To me, I'm not putting guys that were just drafted on that list. I'm going to be putting guys on that list that have played way more in the minor leagues. But he had Trey Sweeney as his number 1 underrated prospect. I think Trey Sweeney was one of the most underrated draft prospects. I think he was in my top 5 when it came to underrated draft prospects. This guy can hit. He's got a 60 hit, a 50 power, very similar to Austin Wells, but he's better in the field. Probably not going to stay at short, projected more as a third baseman. This guy hit the crap out of the ball in college last year. Look at these numbers that Trey Sweeney put up. Look what he did here. Where is his college numbers? This dude, last year, he hit in 48 games at Eastern Illinois. Maybe, okay, yes, he's not going up against Vanderbilt and teams like that, but whatever. This guy hit 382 with a 522 on-base percentage. He was on base in more than half of his plate appearances. That is nuts. He had a 712 slugging. Holy crap. Like, look at these numbers. 14 home runs, 58 RBIs. Come on. I mean, I think he was an underrated draft prospect. I would not personally consider him an underrated prospect just yet, a minor league prospect, because I need to see more. He played a lot last year. He played, well, maybe not a lot, but he played 32 games overall. He was in single A. His on base was good. I think you just have to give him some more time. To me, I don't even consider him right now as like a, how do I say this? Yes, he is a prospect, but I want to see more to really, really consider him like a prospect. He's just getting his feet wet. Give this guy a little bit of time. But out of college, oh yeah, he was very underrated hitter. He honestly seems kind of like a Yankee, but when I'm looking at these guys, my guy that I'm looking at for the Yankees, Oswald Peraza, that's your shortstop. Don't go out and get Andrelton Simmons. That guy couldn't even hit a meteor if it was... Okay, that's probably not the right thing. He couldn't hit the side of a barn if he wanted to. That guy can field like crazy. Yeah, go sign Andrelton Simmons, but have him as a backup infielder. Don't have him as their starting shortstop. Put Peraza out there. Clark Schmidt, this is an interesting guy. He battled with some injuries last year, elbow stuff going on. Didn't really see too much of Clark Schmidt, I believe, last year. He only had 10 games overall, 9 starts. He had good numbers, though, a 2.37 ERA. Can Clark Schmidt finally contribute for this Yankee team? Luis Medina, he's got a big arm, But Davy Garcia, this is another guy too. He really struggled last year. He went through a tough year in the minor leagues last year. AAA, 6.85 ERA. You know, something happened with him, man. Where look at what he did in 2019. He had 165 strikeouts and 111 innings, and then last year it was only 97 and 90. So his walks were up last year. Strikeouts were down. Walks were up. So Davy Garcia, it looks like he was dealing with something mechanically last year, maybe some bad health here and there. But that's a guy I'm looking at for Davy Garcia. You know, he's smaller. He's a smaller stature guy. He's 5'9", but hopefully we can see a little bit more out of him. So, but that for the Yankees, I think it's a good spot, number 13 overall. Number 12, the Cleveland Guardians. When I'm thinking of the Cleveland Guardians, I'm thinking of depth, and more depth. They have a lot of prospects in this system. If we take a look, Cleveland, Fangraphs has them at number 5. They got prospects all over the place. Look at how many guys in the 50s that they have. That's a lot of guys in the 50s. If we're looking at just the overall, Pittsburgh has the most batters and pitchers combined in the 50s. Cleveland has the second most, but they have the most hitters in the 50s. So Cleveland, look out for Cleveland here because they got a lot of depth, and you got a lot of guys that can really contribute. Guys like Tyler Freeman, Daniel Espino, Brian Rocio, Jorge Valera, Gabriel Arias. I mean, you got 5 guys here in the top 100. That's a lot to like. Let's pull up here the Guardians. I can't believe I'm actually getting used to saying the Guardians. That is blowing my mind. But one guy, I'll start off with Nolan Jones. This is a guy I feel like he missed a good opportunity last year. A lot of these prospects, I am going to give the benefit of the doubt. You missed 2020. You really didn't have a minor league season in 2020. So for a lot of these guys, yes, it's nice if you had some good numbers. If you had some bad numbers, you know, I think you can give them a pass. Nolan Jones was considered one of the better prospects in the game coming into last year, and just didn't quite put it together. So, but still right now he is projected to be in the major leagues this year. More of a power guy at the moment, but I'm looking at the power here. 13 home runs. I don't know. He's got 60 powers. I think something was off with him mechanically. But it looks like he was projected as a third baseman. But with Jose Ramirez, they started moving him into the outfield. So I definitely think Nolan Jones can find a spot this year, but he has to show it with the bat. So we'll have to wait and see. They were number 18 mid-season, so they've climbed all the way up to number 12. Taking a look at some other guys. Tyler Freeman, let's talk about him. He's your number 1 guy. 55 overall, high risk. That's okay. Everyone's pretty much a high risk. But had a good season in the minors last year. Hit 323. You know, not a lot of power, not a lot of stolen bases, but Tyler Freeman, you know, look out for him. So taking a look here, it's the hit. He doesn't have a lot of power like we could see with the home runs, but he's a solid guy out in the field. He's going to give you okay speed. But it says here, he could be in line for his major league debut sometime during the summer. He projects to be the Guardians' everyday second baseman of the future and one of the club's best pure hitters. Well, that is one thing. He can hit. As you can see here, the numbers don't lie. Hit 323. Where was that? I wish Baseball America would say where in the minor leagues he played. That would be very helpful. Cleveland Guardians. Let's take a look. Still 150 people strong. I appreciate all of you coming out. But yeah, they're saying he is pretty much ready on Pipeline as well. This was in Double-A last year. So if he's putting up these kind of numbers in Double-A, I think it's only a matter of time before we see him. The Indians need offense. And if this is a guy that can come up and provide something for you with a bat, I think that's only going to be welcomed in Cleveland. Nolan Jones, again, I think we could see him. Gabriel Arias, this is a guy they got in the trade with Mike Clevinger. They got a ton of prospects in that trade. He actually hit pretty well. Hit 284 last year, 13 homers. He struck out a little bit, 110 times. Only 39 walks, so not a great ratio overall, but he had a 348 on base and a 454 slugging in AAA. But with Arias, you're looking at a guy that you can rely on in the field. 75 arm and a 60 field. That's a heck of an arm here. But taking a look at the Guardians for next year. What do we got right now with the Guardians? I'm telling you, I think the Guardians could be an underrated team next year. I think this is a team that could get to a wild card game. Absolutely. Overall, I'm looking at this team. Steven Kwan. Look out for Steven Kwan. He was a 5th round pick back in 2018. This guy had some good numbers last year. I'll pull up Steven Kwan here in just a second, but I like a lot of these guys. Miles Straw, he has a lot of speed. Rosario, he has flexibility. He can move around a little bit. Jose Ramirez, obviously one of the better hitters in the game. Framber Reyes, a lot of power. Bobby Bradley, obviously the average and the on base is not very good, but you got Andres Jimenez, where he's a glove kind of a guy, but I think you could see Tyler Freeman take over at some point. I really do. I like Austin Hedges, whatever with the bat, but he's going to give you amazing defense. But Owen Miller, maybe that could be a guy that can contribute, but it feels like, I don't know, Tyler Freeman, it's only a matter of time. The problem with the Guardians last year was their starting pitching. It was pretty much non-existent. Shane Bieber had some injuries last year. Not a lot of depth. If I'm looking at the pitching right now, your top guy is Daniel Espino. But right now, he's a bit far away. He was the 24th overall pick in 2019. But he had some good numbers last year. 3.73 ERA, 152 strikeouts in 91 innings. That's really good. He's got a lot of velocity, a 70 fastball. He's got good off-speed stuff as well. 60 slider, 55 curve, good control. I feel like he's probably a little too far away. He was in high A ball. I would imagine they're probably not going to rush him. I mean, who knows? Maybe they'll probably start him off at Double A, I would think. Maybe start him off at Double A, maybe high A ball. I could see them starting him at Double A. And if he shows enough, maybe we could see Espino next year. I think that would be welcomed. Cleveland, I really like their farm system. You got a lot of guys. Someone like Brian Rocio, too. Look out for him. Last year, he hit 277, 15 homers, 63 RBIs, 21 stolen bases. He's going to give you more of a hit tool. So that could be a guy he could maybe help out at some point. Really like Gavin Williams. I thought he was an underrated guy coming out of the draft. But I like Gavin Williams a lot, man. I wonder, I don't think you're going to see him in 2022. He didn't pitch at all after getting drafted. But Gavin Williams, give this guy a year or two in the minor leagues. I think he could really do something. He's got a big fastball, good off-speed stuff. I think he's an underrated guy. That was another guy. MLB Nerds had him on his top 10. Again, I'm not really considering these guys that just got drafted as underrated kind of guys. They just got drafted. You know, I'm looking at guys that have been in the minor leagues for a little bit, that are maybe close to getting to the majors, or maybe not as close. Maybe, single A, double A kind of guys, but Gavin Williams, I think he was an underrated guy in the draft. He was the 23rd pick, but they got some other guys here. You also had Tanner Burns from 2020. Logan Allen, he's projected for Double A as of right now. Logan Allen, taking a look, had good numbers last year. In Double A, you could see Logan Allen maybe at some point. Look at the ERA, 2.85 ERA, 60 innings. Absolutely. Look out for Logan Allen next year. I believe he's number 9 on Baseball America. Maybe Bo Naylor we could see at some point. Austin Hedges, not really too much of a bat. Bo Naylor, though, on the other hand, not really much of a bat either. Only a 40 hit tool. He only hit 188 in the minors last year. So maybe not Bo Naylor's really. I don't know, maybe. But I really I think the Guardians could be a sneaky team next year. But one guy that's actually not listed here, and I don't think he's listed on here either, which I find a little surprising. But I want to take a look at Steven Kwan. Steven Kwan, he actually has some sneaky good projections for next year. 281 average, 342 on base, 9 home runs. That's not a bad projection here for a guy that has only been in the minor leagues so far. In the minors, this guy has had really good on-base percentages. Maybe not a lot of home runs, not a lot of RBIs, but he's a hitting machine. He hit 311 last year over 26 games. Or no, that's in AAA. In 51 games in AA, he hit 337. I mean, this is a really, according to the numbers, and he's actually projected to be your left fielder right now. I'm telling you, look out for the, I almost said the Indians. Look out for the Guardians. They're going to have new jerseys. I don't know. Are they going to look all that different? I don't know. They're going to have a bit of energy with a name change next year. I think, and if this pitching can come strong, I think this Guardians team could be a team you could see in the wild card game. I'm looking. This is a really good bullpen last year. Logan Allen, actually, he did come up last year. Sorry, I completely disregarded that. He was in the majors last year. He had good numbers in the minors, but he didn't do so hot. But maybe after, a season where, look, overall, he had his moments, but I'm sure. But a 6.26 ERA overall, if that can get better, honestly, I think, Maz, man, I can understand that completely. Not a big fan of the political stuff when it comes to, this this kind of stuff. But I don't know, whatever. New name. I'm sure there's going to be some energy. I think a lot of people weren't really a big fan of the name change, but I think there's a group of people that were okay with it too. So what can you do? But I think this is a team you could definitely see compete for a wild card. I think they could compete right there with the White Sox too. Honestly, I think this is a bit of a forgotten team. This is a good team, and you got some minor league depth as well. Sure. Why couldn't they? Why couldn't they compete next year? I really think they could. Moving on. Number 11. Oh, my Red Sox. Here we go. Here comes Giraffe Neck Robbie. All righty. Let's talk my Red Sox, shall we? Marcelo Mayer, our top prospect. Might be jumping the gun a little bit with Marcelo Mayer, but there was a lot to like, out of Marcelo Mayer in high school. I think it's a lot to be, putting him as your top prospect right now. I personally think Tristan Casas is our number one prospect. I think actually Nick York. I would put Nick York ahead of Mayer right now, personally, just because I think Mayer has the potential based off of all of the video that I watched from Marcelo Mayer and just the numbers that he put up and just the scouting grades. I think it's a little jumping the gun a little bit with Marcelo Mayer. I would put Casas and York in front of him right now. Maybe even Jaron Duran. But I'm really excited about Marcelo Mayer. Either way, though, he's very far away. Tristan Casas is the guy that I think could make an impact for the Red Sox this year. I am really excited about Tristan Casas. He had a good season last year. Hit 279, 14 homers, 59 RBIs. I would like to see the home runs. I'm sorry I'm being a picky Red Sox fan right now, but if those home runs can come up a little bit, I think Tristan Casas, this is a guy, he could be a 30, 35 home run a year kind of a guy, hit anywhere 270 to 300, 90 to 100 RBIs. I think Casas, man, I really am excited. Look at the walks, 57 walks to 71 strikeouts, a 394 on base. Get that slugging into the fives, and I think you got something with Tristan Casas. I'm really excited for him. He was in AAA. He played in the Olympics for USA Baseball. Only hit 242 at AAA over 9 games, but the on base was still really good. I am really excited about Tristan Casas. I'm more excited about Casas than Dahlbeck. I think Dahlbeck could actually be a guy that we trade. I maybe that's jumping the gun a little bit, but I think Casas, to me, this I think is the next guy for the Red Sox. I really think he is. Nick York. Hey, Nick York, if you're out there, I'd love to have an interview with you, my friend. If you're out there, I did a video on you when you got drafted. I remember when he got drafted, I'm thinking, well, to me, when I saw that Nick York got drafted, I had already read up a little bit on him. I didn't read a ton, but I was reading Baseball America, and I saw a list of underrated guys, and I saw Nick York on that list. And I kind of passed by him a little bit. I looked at his numbers really quick, his scouting grades. So I'm like, He looks like a pretty solid player. And I didn't really like dive into him too much, but I remember seeing him in an article. And then the Red Sox picked him. And I'm like, oh, that's that guy that was on that list that I was looking at. And, and look at the numbers that he put up last year. Really good numbers. He hit 325 last year with 14 home runs, 62 RBIs. Look at the walk to strikeout ratio. He walked 52 times and he only struck out 69 times. I'm telling you, man, Nick York, this is going to be our guy. He's going to be our second baseman of the future, man. I'm so excited for Nick York. I think he's going to be awesome. Everyone was laughing at this pick. I remember on Twitter, everyone was going on there and they're like, who the heck is Nick York? And I'm like, oh, that's the guy I saw on the Baseball America underrated list. Under the radar list. And, I like him a lot. Phil Nato just subscribed. What's going on, my friend? Welcome to the channel. But for the Red Sox, this is a farm system where even mid-season, I think they were, oh, wow, they had a number, oh, they dropped him down a little bit. I find that a little surprising. See, look, they had the Blue Jays at number 10. So, man, they dropped the Blue Jays down to, what was it? Really, the Blue Jays dropped from 10 to 19. Interesting. But the Red Sox, I don't know. I feel like I don't know. I think the Red Sox have a top 10 system. Maybe I'm being a little biased. But let's see what Baseball America says. Boston's system isn't the deepest. I agree. You still need to add some guys there. But it's the opening trio of shortstop Marcelo Mayer, Tristan Casas, and Nick York. It's very enticing. This is another guy, Brayan Bello. Look out for him. Look out for Brayan Bello. 2021, he had himself a good year. So Brian Mata was our top pitching prospect along with Jay Groom, but Brian Mata ended up having to get Tommy John. Jay Groom, I believe he had to get Tommy John too. But Brayan Bello last year did pretty good. Overall, it did. His numbers jumped up a little bit in Portland, but overall, he had a 3.87 ERA. He had 132 strikeouts over 95 innings. He's got a good fastball, good slider, good changeup. I think this is a guy, Brayan Bello. Look out. I think he could provide something for the Red Sox in the bullpen. Jeter Downs, he had a bad year last year. This was looking like he was going to be maybe our next second baseman when we got him in the Mookie Betts trade. But last year, oh boy, he really struggled last year. Oh boy, only hit 190. He struck out 131 times, only walked 38 times, on base of 272. I don't know, man. Jeter Downs, I'm really hoping for a year where he can bounce back. Did he play in fall ball? Because this looks like Royce Lewis kind of stuff a little bit, where he was doing really well, and then he ended up just kind of falling off. So, taking a look here. Did he play? Yeah, he did play fall. Yeah, he did. He didn't do well there either. His on base was better at 389. So that is nice to see, but the average still wasn't quite there. He's hitting for power. He had 14 homers in 2021. He had 24 in 2019 in 20 more games. But, yeah, I don't know. Still seeing the stolen bases, but Jeter Downs, this is going to be a big year for him. At this point, you can't really trade him because there's just not a lot of value for him right now. He's going to have to build himself back up, but look out. Anything could happen. Xander Bogaerts, he, according to reports, is going to test free agency after this year. Marcelo Mayer, he's far away. I mean, you're not going to be looking at him for the next couple of years. But could Jeter Downs have himself a good year and maybe thrust himself into that spot? Nick York, I'm excited for. Blaze Jordan. How can we not talk about Blaze Jordan here? So, looking at Blaze Jordan, in rookie ball, he was just blowing the roof off the place. He hit 362, 4 homers, 19 RBIs. And then he went to A ball in Salem. He only hit 250. He did have a couple of home runs. But Blaze Jordan, I am really excited to see what he can do this year. Really excited about that. Guys like Connor Siebold, this is a guy, he came up to the majors for a cup of coffee this year, but Connor Seabold is a guy where he had some pretty good numbers last year. 3.47 ERA in the minors. Not really going to be a strikeout kind of a guy, more of a control, kind of a movement kind of a guy. But Connor Seabold, I definitely could see some getting a lot of innings next year. This is another one. Wilkerman Gonzalez. Big fastball. This is a guy, he really improved his game last year. In 12 starts, he had a 2.91 ERA. I mean, hey, 66 Ks in 52 innings. Only walked 16 guys. So this is another guy to keep an eye out for. Let me actually see who's out the top 10 for the Red Sox here. Oh, here we go. Oh, wait, what happened to it? Where did it go? Hold on. Let's go here. Oh, wait, hold on. Top 30s. I hate when I click out of something and I don't realize that I click out of it because my potato brain doesn't pay attention. But looking at the Red Sox here. So they got Merritt, number 1, Casas 2, York 3. And Jarren Duran, this is another guy too, where he was getting some playing time with the Red Sox. And as of right now, he is penciled in as their left fielder. The Red Sox, I wonder if they're going to go after a right-handed bat for the outfield. I think you definitely could have Duran there. If we're looking at here, the Red Sox for next year, looking at the Red Sox, they have Jarren Duran for left field. So, he had a couple of good moments last year. He showed some speed on the bases. But, could Jarren Duran be that guy? Have to wait and see. But you got 3 lefties in the outfield. I wonder if that's going to stick. I don't know. Verdugo, it seemed like his more of his home last year was left field. Jarren Duran, I don't know if he's going to be really... Could you put Jarren Duran in center? I think that could definitely happen. Keep Kike at second base. I could see that. But I could definitely see Duran in the plans next year for the Red Sox. Another guy, Brian Mata, going to be coming back from Tommy John eventually. Jay Groom, I think, is really interesting. He showed some strides last year. He was the 25th pick in the 2020 draft. I believe it was 2020. But there's a lot to like with Jay Groom. I'm looking for a big year out of him. Hopefully he can give it to us. So the Red Sox, I'm really excited about their farm system. I've been really down on this farm system. That's why I was okay with trading away Mookie Betts and getting Jeter Downs in that trade. Yes, Downs obviously had a bad season, but it was a prospect, So I was okay with that. Overall, I'm really liking what Chaim Bloom has been doing in the draft. Look at Nick York. Drafted Nick York, and look at where he is. This is a guy, man. Oh, whatever. Here we go. Top 10. Oh, I just went a little ahead there. Arizona Diamondbacks coming in at number 10. Ooh, this might be a little low. But there's a lot to like with the Diamondbacks here. Corbin Carroll, Jordan Lawler, who they just drafted, Alek Thomas, Geraldo Perdomo, Blake Walston, Ryan Nelson. There's a lot to like with the Arizona Diamondbacks. Conman 752. Giraffe Neck Robbie, and that's why Marcelo Mayer, Tristan Casas, Jeter Downs, Jarren Duran. Yeah, I love reading those comments on Giraffe Neck Mark's comments section. I think he did, what was it? Giraffe Neck Mark, he had the top 50 players or something, and the top comment was, and that is why Brandon Nimmo is the best player in all of baseball. I thought that was really funny. So, Comment 752. What can I say? I got some Giraffe Neck Robbie going on tonight. I like their farm system. What can I say? But yes, they are all going to be the best at their position one day because they're on the Red Sox. That's all you got to say. But Comment, thank you so much for the $10 super chat. Really appreciate you, my friend. Thank you. Here we go. Diamondbacks. I could argue the Diamondbacks should be up higher on here. If we're looking at Fangraphs, right now they have the Diamondbacks at number 4. They got a lot to like here. A lot to like. Corbin Carroll, Alek Thomas. Corbin Carroll ran into some injuries last year, but man, this guy can hit. He can really hit, man. Let's go to the Diamondbacks. Corbin Carroll, number 1. Man, oh man. So, He's just a really good hitter. He's a really good athlete. I believe he had something with his shoulder last year. I think he had to get some screws put in his shoulder or something like that. Maybe. I don't quite remember what happened to him, but look at the grades. 60 hit, 55 power, 70 speed, 60 field. You know, the arm, you know, I think that was what happened. I think his arm was not, I think he had to get screws or something put in his shoulder. But so I can definitely see the arm not being too good. Let's go to the Diamondbacks. He was putting up some really dumb numbers. I don't think Jordan Lawler should be number one here. I think Corbin Carroll should be. But look at these numbers. In 7 games, he hit .435. A couple home runs, a few stolen bases. He had a .552 on base. This guy was going nuts in those 7 games. Oh, and look what he did in 2019. Hit .299, a .409 on base. Yeah, you want that power to come up a little bit, but there's a lot to like with him. Alek Thomas, keep an eye out for him. I think he could help out the Diamondbacks this year. I think the Diamondbacks are a sneaky team in 2022. Look out for the Diamondbacks. In the minors last year, hit .313, 18 homers, 59 RBIs, 13 stolen bases, a .394 on base. Alek Thomas, man, keep an eye out for him. Blake Walston looks like he's a bit far away, but Ryan Nelson was in Double-A last year. Did pretty well overall. 3.17 ERA. The Diamondbacks have a lot of good. You got Bryce Jarvis, who they drafted a couple of years ago. I believe he did okay last year. Yeah, ERA in the 4s. Yeah, you got Slade Ciccone, ERA in the 4s as well, but he's got good stuff. Geraldo Perdomo, this is a guy. Could he be the shortstop for the Diamondbacks this year? I mean, I'm just saying. With their shortstop position right now, you got Nick Ahmed, but I don't know, man. The guy just doesn't really hit. He can field. Absolutely, he can field, but I don't know. I think you maybe want a bat. You know, Perdomo could be that bat for you. With Perdomo, in the major leagues last year, in 11 games, he had a .378 on base. You know, that's not bad for 11 games in the major leagues. You got a lot of guys here. Look out for Seth Beer, Corbin Martin. Can he... You know, he was in the majors last year, didn't really do too well, so there's definitely some room for improvement. I liked that Ryan Bliss pickup for them. Ryan Bliss, when they drafted him, he did all right last year. He didn't do anything too crazy, but overall, I like that draft pick. But I like what the Diamondbacks have. Jordan Lawler is very far away, but this could be a guy that could be a big-time shortstop for you in the future. I like what the Diamondbacks have. I think they have some good talent on this team, and but they got some talent in the minor leagues that can absolutely come up and help. Corbin Carroll, man. I mean, where was he last year? He was in high A ball. I mean, with those kind of numbers, he could fly through. Alek Thomas, he was in AAA last year, put up good numbers there. I think Alek Thomas is going to be a guy where right now, where do they have him? They don't have him in the major league roster as of right now. I think he could absolutely do it. I mean, you got, as of right now, you got David Peralta, who's always a health risk. Varsho, a little light on the average and the on base. He can get into some here and there. Marte's always a guy where you got to worry about health with him, you know. But you got Peralta, Pavin Smith. He could also play first base. Christian Walker is very light on the hitting. Could you move Pavin Smith maybe to first and then put Alek Thomas out and right? I definitely think so. I think the Diamondbacks could be a good team next year. I think a big thing with them is pitching. They need Zach Gallen to really step up for them. Take that step forward like I feel like he can. Madison Bumgarner, he's got to start pitching a little bit more like he was with the Giants. You know, he's got to start living up to that contract a little bit. If you can add another pitcher, you know, maybe have one of these guys come up from the minors. You know, someone like Ryan Nelson or Blake, maybe not Blake Walston. He seems like he's a bit far away. But, you know, I think the Diamondbacks could maybe do something next year. Blake Walston, what did he do last year? He was in high A ball. So I would imagine, unless he makes big-time strides, probably not going to see a lot from him. You know, even if he does get to the major leagues, is he going to be a big-time, you know, contributor? Maybe not. But maybe Ryan Nelson, who's a little bit farther along. So I like what the Diamondbacks have. Coming in at number 9. Oh, went a little too far. The Texas Rangers. The Texas Rangers. Here we go. Obviously, Jack Leiter was the big-time pick for them this year in the draft. You got Josh Jung. I feel like you don't hear a lot about him. Cole Winn. You don't hear a lot about Cole Winn. I feel like we need to start hearing a little bit more about him. This guy's got talent, man. Let's go to the Texas Rangers. So the Rangers right now in their top 10, Jack Leiter number 1, Josh Jung number 2, Cole Winn number 3. Don't forget about Ezekiel Duran. Don't forget about Josh Smith. They got those guys in the Joey Gallo trade. Don't forget about guys like Justin Foscue, who they drafted in 2020. Owen White, I think, has some potential. I really like Cole Winn. That's a guy, as of right now, Texas on Fangraphs is number 12. I think Texas might be a little high right now. I think Jack Leiter is kind of boosting it a little bit. I would honestly put the Rangers lower on this list, but I do like some of their guys. Taking a look here for Texas. Taking a look. Wow, we're almost at 3 hours right now. Everyone, we're still at 140 people. You guys are awesome. Thank you for sticking around. But Cole Winn, look at these numbers he put up last year. In 21 starts between AA and AAA, hit a 2.41 ERA, 107 strikeouts in 86 innings. He only had 31 walks. I think Cole Winn is an underrated pitching prospect. Look out for him. Sam Huff, kind of wondering what Sam Huff can do. You know, this is a power-hitting catcher. Man, he can hit a ball. He's kind of like, he reminds me of Joey Gallo a little bit. Last year, or in 2020, he was going off. He had 10 games, 394 on base, at 355, few home runs. But in the minors last year, the average went down, on base went down. The home runs were, still kind of there. He strikes out a lot. That's the one thing where I could see the Rangers maybe being a little hesitant with him. He's like Joey Gallo, honestly. He's very much like Joey Gallo. Gets into one, he can hit it a mile. Don't forget, you got the Luis Angel Acuna. Very interesting. Number 8 prospect. The brother of Ronald Acuna Jr., but not seeing too much from him as of right now. In A-ball, 266 average, 12 homers. He had 44 stolen bases. Very athletic. But you need to see that power come up a little bit. The run is obviously there. He's really good in the field, or at least he's good. He's got a good arm out in the field. So look out for Acuna. Could he end up turning into something like his brother, Ronald Acuna Jr.? But Jack Leiter. Could we see Jack Leiter this year? He didn't pitch last year, probably because he pitched a lot in college, so they kind of wanted to... Wonder Davey. I'm going to have to go fix that, okay? Right after this stream tonight, I'll go put the link on the community tab. But Jack Leiter, man. This is a guy, I'm wondering what he ends up doing this year. Does he help out this year? Maybe. Do they give him a full year in the minor leagues? But I think if he ends up just showing, reports are that they're going to start him out in AA. And if he takes to it and he shows he can do it, I think you could see him in the major leagues. But the one concern about Jack Leiter is his size. He's 6'1". A lot of times these smaller pitchers, they tend to get a lot of flack for their size, or they get taken down a few notches. But I think Leiter, this guy, man, he actually in college he was prone to the home run ball a little bit. I know that wasn't really shown a lot with Jack Leiter, but he did give up his fair share of home runs pitching for Vanderbilt. So it's going to be interesting how he takes to the major league game. If I were the Rangers, I wouldn't rush him. If he shows that he can do it, yeah, fine. But I would not just give him a couple of starts and then just put him up in the major leagues. I wouldn't do that. But overall, I like what the Rangers have. At number 8, we got the Dodgers. The Dodgers are always in the top 10 when it comes to farm systems. Look at what they got here. 2017, they were number 2. 2018, they were number 9. 2019, they were number 10. 2020, they were number 3. 2021, they were number 9. And this year, they are now number 8. A fantastic organization. They're always developing talent. It's just a machine there. Would you like to maybe, for the Dodgers to win a few more World Series? Yeah. I think they've had a couple of teams. 2019, that was an incredible Dodgers team. But they could not pull it off. But they always have good farm systems. Next Level Gaming, where are the Nats? The Nationals are all the way down at number... Where are they? Number 26. Number 26 for the Nationals. So, alrighty. Going back here. Gotta make sure I don't go past. There we go. Dodgers. There's a lot to like. Diego Cartaya, one of the top catching prospects in the game. But you do have Will Smith. So could you maybe... Cartaya? Could maybe he be a trade piece at some point? Maybe. Bobby Miller, I think, is a bit of an underrated pitching prospect a little bit. You got some other guys. Michael Busch, I think, is pretty solid. Ryan Pepiot, good stuff. Needs to get calmed down on the walks a little bit. You got Miguel Vargas as well. But overall, I just think for the Dodgers, there's not really a lot of guys here that you really need. Maybe Ryan Pepiot could help out next year. Maybe, I don't know, Michael Busch. I don't know. He just doesn't seem, he's blocked, I mean, sure. With, if we go to the Dodgers here, don't forget, you got Gavin Lux, who was a top prospect, but it seems like Gavin Lux is still trying to find his way. Shortstop, it could be opening. You got Trey Turner right now. Could he end up going to another team in free agency? So if Gavin Lux can get himself right, and he can just get himself at the level that he should be, could he be your shortstop? And then could you have Michael Busch be your second baseman? I think that's possible. But Andy Pages, this is another guy. MLB Nerds said that he is an underrated prospect. I agree. I think Andy Pages is a bit underrated. He had good numbers last year, had 31 home runs, 88 RBIs. He struck out a little bit, 132 times. I don't like all the strikeouts, but he did walk a little, or quite a lot. 77 walks, had a 394 on base, 539 slugging. This is all at high A ball. I want to see if those strikeouts, could they turn into a problem as he gets higher into the minor leagues? We'll have to wait and see. I feel like a lot of times these big home run guys that strike out a lot, I think of, guys like Sam Huff. We talked about Sam Huff, where he hasn't really made that impact yet. So Andy Pages, he's going to have to cut down on these strikeouts. But there's a lot of potential with him. Big power, 55 power. And he's got a good arm out there. So going to Diego Cartaya here, there's a lot to like with him. 55 hit, 55 power, 60 arm, 55 field. There's a lot to like with him. Overall, last year in A ball, hit 298, 10 homers, 409 on base, 614 slugging. Those are good numbers, but there's a lot to like with him, a lot of potential. Bobby Miller, I think this is a guy, he had a really good year last year, 2.40 ERA. Not a lot of walks, 70 Ks. That was one thing with Bobby Miller. A lot of people worried about his control, but it's gotten better. I think it was at 45 at one point, and I think they've bumped it up to a 50. There's a lot to like with Bobby Miller. I think you could see Bobby Miller at some point. Maybe. He was in Double-A last year, didn't quite have the numbers like he did in Single-A, but I think Bobby Miller, maybe he could be a guy that can help out in the bullpen. I like Clayton Beeter as well. Clayton Beeter's a guy I think you could say is a bit underrated. He had 28 games last year, 27 starts, a 3.44 ERA. I think he's a little underrated. I think overall he's a pretty balanced pitcher. 60 fastball, 60 curve. Luis Rodriguez, international signing back in 2019. In rookie ball last year, didn't quite get a lot done. But overall, there's a lot to like with the Dodgers farm system. I don't think you necessarily have guys in the minor leagues right now that are, waiting in the wings, like how Gavin Lux was. But there's a lot of solid guys. And as a Dodgers fan, you're going to be competing this year. You definitely have a World Series team, I still think. And obviously, we got a good farm system. Coming in at number 7, we got the Cincinnati Reds. Look at the Cincinnati Reds. I like their farm system. I think it's a little underrated. The Cincinnati Reds on Fangraphs. Fangraphs actually has them a lot lower at number 17. I actually agree more with Baseball America. I like a lot of these Reds prospects. I love Hunter Green. love Hunter Green, and I love Nick Lodolo. I really think those guys could be impactful for the Reds down the road. Jose Barrero, we saw him last year. Man, really like a lot of what the Reds have, at least at the very top. I also like when they drafted Jay Allen. I thought that was pretty good. Matt McClain, I thought was a really solid middle infielder to pick up in that draft. But Hunter Green, to me, is the guy. I thought we could have seen him last year for the Reds, but they thought otherwise. They wanted to keep him down. In AAA, a 4.13 ERA. This guy is going to give you big-time velocity, 80 fastball, 55 slider. You would like to see his slider, his cutter, or his changeup be a bit better. I think he's a big fastball guy as of right now, but Hunter Green, I'm really excited for. Nick Lodolo looks more, he's not going to blow you away with velocity, but he's going to give you more of an all-around repertoire. 55 fastball, 55 slider, 55 changeup, 60 control. Really like Nick Lodolo. And look at the numbers, 2.31 ERA. Honestly, I think Nick Lodolo, if I were to make a prediction right now, I think he has the better chance of maybe cracking the rotation for the Reds next year. If we're taking a look here at the rotation, as of right now, you still got a pretty good top three in your rotation. Castillo, Maile, Gray. You got a couple of these guys here in the back end, but could you see Lodolo maybe win a spot out of spring training? I think this Reds team is still pretty good. You just need a bullpen. You need more guys. Honestly, if I'm playing MLB The Show, I'm putting Lodolo in the rotation, and I'm putting Hunter Green as like a high leverage guy in my bullpen. With that fastball, absolutely, But that's what I'm thinking here. The Reds, I think you could see them somewhere from 10 to 15. Maybe 7 is a bit high. I just like some of these guys, as well as Jose Barrero, too. He's actually not on here anymore because it's looking like he is pretty much graduated. For shortstop, they have Kyle Farmer listed as the shortstop right now. But Barrero, he is definitely their top shortstop prospect. So he did come up to the minors last year. Or he came up to the majors last year, sorry. Last year, Jose Barrero, he had 21 games. Not really too much, but that looks like a rookie stat line. There's a lot to like with him. Fangraphs, they think his hit tool needs to be a bit better, but he has raw power. He's got speed. He's going to give you fielding. So in the minors last year, in AAA, he hit 306 with a 392 on base. He was a really good player in AAA. In AA, he was really good too. So he earned that promotion. So I definitely think he's going to be your shortstop. But the Reds, I think you could put a little lower on here, but I think their system, I think their system is a little underrated. Don't forget about Austin Hendrick. There's a guy in 2020 they drafted. Didn't really do too much in the minors last year. Only hit 211, 7 homers, but a lot of strikeouts. So we need to see more out of that. But the on base was pretty good at 380. So, but yeah, I like a lot of what the Reds have to offer. Coming in at number 6, we have the Detroit Tigers. Ooh, could that maybe be a little low? Fangraphs has the Tigers at number 14. Huh. Even with a big bat like Spencer Torkelson. Oh, man. And then just drafting Jackson Jobe, Riley Green. Taking a look at what Baseball America has to say. At the top, Riley Green, Spencer Torkelson. Detroit boasts a solid top 10, but the talent drops off from there. The 2 most recent drafts yielded strong results for the Tigers, with 6 total picks from 2020 and 2021 ranking among their top 10. So taking a look at the Detroit Tigers. Let's go back here. Detroit Tigers. So yeah, Spencer Torkelson, that's the guy that I'm looking out for the Detroit Tigers. Taking a look here. Funny enough, they have Riley Green as the number 1 guy. I'm sorry. Spencer Torkelson's the number 1. I'm sorry. He is the number 1 guy. That's crazy to me. Like, how do they put Marcelo Mayer as the number 1 prospect for the Red Sox, but Torkelson is not your number 1 prospect? I don't agree. I don't agree with that. And Torkelson has been killing it in the minor leagues. I like Riley Green, but I think Torkelson's your number one, personally. I mean, looking here, Riley Green was really good. Maybe I could see they have the edge for Riley Green because he is more of an all-around kind of a player where he can hit home runs, he can steal bases, he's going to play well in the field. So, I live right next to here. Oh, Riley Green, I live right next to Oviedo. Like a 15-minute drive. Not even, maybe 10. But he must have went to Oviedo High School. But Riley Green, 65 overall. I mean, there's a lot to like with him. I think Tigers fans, you got to be excited. A 70 hit tool, 55 power. I mean, all around, he's going to be a really good player. Green only seems to thrive with every challenge, leading to the belief that he can make a case for a major league promotion before the All-Star break, if not sooner. His consistent contact and fluid defense should allow him to seize a starting role quickly and begin his ascent to a perennial All-Star who hits for average and power. Riley Green, I think it's only a matter of time before we see him. Let's go to the Tigers here. Just did a Tigers rebuild about a month ago on MLB The Show. If you haven't seen that, go check it out. But for the Tigers, I mean, I had Riley Green come up pretty quick. Robbie Grossman is going to be a free agent after this year. Good on base guy. Going to give you some home runs and some stolen bases. Akil Baddoo, I think, is an exciting player. I want him to take a step forward, though. And then you have Victor Reyes in center field. I think Riley Green could take that center field job from Victor Reyes, honestly. I think you could see Riley Green up there rather quick. And I think Spencer Torkelson, I think he could win a job. I think he could win the first base job out of spring training. This guy's got a bat, man. I mean, last year at a 383 on base. You know, come on. His first year professionally, 30 home runs. Come on. I mean, this is your guy. Like, this is your guy. To me, that bat, I can understand why Green is number one here because he's an all-around player. But that bat of Torkelson, oh my God. Like, he's going to be a top hitter in this game rather quick. But taking a look, Jackson Jobe, this guy had some stupid spin rates in high school. But he's very far away. So not really going to look too much into him. But look at the slider. He has a Looney Tunes slider. Go look at it if you haven't seen it already. Dylan Dingler. This is their catcher of the future. He's really taken to catching pretty well overall. A lot of people were thinking maybe because, he could be more of a center fielder. But he's really come a long way with his fielding. And he has a great arm. But I guess after that, when you're looking at the Tigers, Ty Madden is a good reliever, good pitcher. But I wonder, he was in Texas last year. Do you see him at some point? This year, maybe not. But one thing, he struggled with pitching up in the zone, and when I look at Ty Madden, he's someone that doesn't really blow me away. I think he could be a solid guy, like a back end kind of a guy for your rotation. But I can understand why the Tigers are not as high on Fangraphs. Because really after these top guys, I wonder, you got Creedler here, Campos, Joey Wentz. Could you be, someone out of the bullpen, like a long relief kind of a guy? The talent does drop off after the top four. And I can understand, but I think they might be a little high here, actually. I would actually put the Tigers a little lower. I would put the Dodgers ahead of the Tigers right now. I'd maybe put the Tigers ahead of the Rangers. I would do that. I would put the Diamondbacks ahead of the Tigers right now. I'd put the Red Sox ahead of the Tigers right now. Well, it might be kind of close. Their top guys, maybe the Tigers are ahead of the Red Sox. I think the Guardians, man, they got more depth. I don't know. I think the Yankees, they got a really good farm. Again, the Giants, I feel like are a little low. The Marlins, honestly, I think the Marlins, they got a lot of pitching. I can understand why the Tigers are here because you got 4 guys in that they're very good. So that's carrying them. Here we go. Top 5. The Kansas City Royals. Where were the Royals last year in the midseason rankings? They were number 3. So they've come down to number 5. The big guy is Bobby Witt Jr. I mean, what else is there to say? I'm surprised we didn't see him last year. I really am. I really thought we were going to see Bobby Witt Jr. I don't know why we didn't. This guy was raking in spring training. They probably just thought, have a year in the minor leagues, get more seasoning. Oh, man, but I am really excited to see Bobby Witt. Man, oh, man. I mean, this is a guy, I think he's number 3 overall in the top 100, but he has a 70 grade and a medium risk. If there's a sure thing in the minor leagues besides Spencer Torkelson right now, I know I like Julio Rodriguez, but Bobby Witt, this guy, Torkelson and Witt right now are the 2 most sure things in prospects, when it comes to prospects. Look at what Bobby Witt Jr. did in the minor leagues last year. Hit 290, a 361 on base, a 575 slugging, 33 home runs, 29 stolen bases. This guy is ready. If he is not in the opening day lineup for the Kansas City Royals, I don't know what to say. He is projected to be their third baseman. So, I'm at third baseman. Why isn't he? Oh, he's got Nicky Lopez at short. Okay. So, yeah. Bobby Witt, you got to put this guy in your lineup. Kansas City on Fangraphs. They actually have Kansas City at number 19. Very interesting. Very interesting. I think Kansas City's higher than 19. But I can understand. Bobby Witt is definitely carrying this farm system. But Bobby Witt, let me actually see. That was in AAA, I believe, right? With Bobby Witt Jr. Kansas City. That was at AA and AAA. Yeah, he killed it. He spent half a season at AA, half a season at AAA. He pretty much did the same thing at both levels. He's ready, man. He's ready. I like me some Asa Lacy. I'm pretty excited for him. Didn't have great numbers last year, so hopefully we can see a bit of a step forward. I believe Asa Lacy had some shoulder stuff going on last year, possibly. I could be wrong on that. But a lot of scouts, they're kind of worried with his windup, his mechanics. So if we look here, Lacy needs to keep his feet and head in sync during his delivery in order to maintain a more fluid direction to the plate. Rival scouts are not yet concerned with his struggles to consistently throw strikes because of the quality of his pitches. So right now he is a stuff over control kind of a guy. As you can see here, 79 strikeouts, 41 walks for Asa Lacy. So I think he has great stuff, though. Look out for him. MJ Melendez. Let's look at AJ Melendez here. MJ Melendez, sorry. MJ Melendez. This guy had 41 home runs last year. I mean, if there's an underrated prospect, I mean, this is it. He's being blocked right now by Salvador Perez. The Royals know how to develop these power-hitting catchers. What the heck is going on? But with MJ Melendez, he's good in the field. He's got a good arm. I mean, look, he's 41 home runs. Like, are you kidding me? Melendez will benefit from a full season at AAA. Perez firmly entrenched as the catcher. He played a few games at third base after his promotion to Omaha and will continue to get experience at other positions. I think, honestly, if you're hitting like the way he's hitting, I mean, come on. You got to get this guy. You got to find another position. Outfield, whatever. Get this bat going. Get him in a position where he can be comfortable. Where he's not really so concerned about the defense, really. Hopefully he can take to another position. I mean, as a catcher, I would imagine first base, third base. I could imagine he's got a good arm. Does he have the speed for, say, like a right field? His run is pretty limited. Maybe left field. That could be something. But I could see third or first base being a better spot considering he is a catcher. So he's got a big arm. So to me, third base is probably a spot but then if you're looking at the lineup, Bobby Witt Jr. is projected for third base. Could you put Whit Merrifield in the outfield? Kyle Isbell. He's young. But Whit Merrifield could play center, and Michael Taylor, that could be, fourth outfielder. So you can make room. Honestly, maybe put Bobby Witt put him at short, put Nicky Lopez at second, put Whit Merrifield at center, and then you got AJ Melendez at third. And honestly, that lineup is actually looking pretty scary. If Melendez ends up hitting for that kind of power, oh boy. But for the Royals, there's a lot to like. You got young pitching with the Royals. You got a lot of these guys who have come up in recent years. Brad Keller, Brady Singer, Chris Bubick. So with their pitchers, Asa Lacy is the top guy pitching-wise. But you have Jackson Kowar. He has good stuff. Can he put it together? He had a rocky time last year. I believe. How many games did he pitch for the Royals last year? I believe he pitched like 1 or 2 games. Jackson Kowar. Oh, no, he had 30 innings last year. Oh, he had 8 starts. Yeah, I figured he had bad numbers last year. But he's got good stuff. He's got a good fastball, good changeup. The control needs to get better. So Jackson Kowar, could we see something of him? Nick Pratto, taking a look at Nick Pratto, number 2 guy. I feel like you're not hearing a lot about Nick Pratto. But look at Nick Pratto here. Hit 265. He had 36 home runs, 98 RBIs. He's a big strikeout guy, but he's got a 385 on base. In AAA last year, he had 21 home runs. Look out for Nick Pratto. That's another guy. Could he be your first baseman? Right now you got Hunter Dozier. The Royals, you got some exciting guys. I'm excited for the Royals. Coming in at number 4, we got the Baltimore Orioles. Where were the Orioles last year? They were number 2, or in midseason, they were number 2. But Adley Rutschman, Grayson Rodriguez, those are the headliners. Adley Rutschman, the top prospect in all of Major League Baseball right now. Grayson Rodriguez, number 6. Really excited about Colton Cowser. They just drafted him. I'm excited for Grayson Rodriguez. I know Adley Rutschman, that's your cornerstone guy of the future. He's going to rake. He's going to be awesome. He's going to be a top player. Adley Rutschman has all the tools to be one of the faces of the game. Absolutely. He's all around a good player. The guy mashes. He hits for average. He hits for power. He catches. Fred Stewart, thank you for subscribing. Adley Rutschman can do it all. He's going to be the next great catcher in this game. I think he can even be better than JT Realmuto. Honestly, I think he has that much potential. Grayson Rodriguez, this is going to be a stud. Look out for Grayson Rodriguez here. Let's pull up the Orioles. Grayson Rodriguez, man. And I just had that super chat early on in this stream about 3 hours ago. Someone, who was it again? Was it JM? That's right. No, that wasn't JM. Sorry. It was Conman, 752 Conman, where you talked about the walls being pushed back at Camden Yards. So I think that's only going to help the pitchers. So for Grayson Rodriguez, you're just setting him up even more for success. With Grayson Rodriguez last year, again, Adley Rutschman, he's going to be awesome. He's going to be so good. Defensive 60, 70 arm, 70 power, 70 bat. Come on. Are you kidding me? But then Grayson Rodriguez. Look at the numbers that he put up last year. 9-1, 2.36 ERA, 161 strikeouts, only 27 walks. Grayson Rodriguez is going to be so good. Oh my God. 70 fastball, 70 slider, 65 changeup, 55 curveball, 60 control. This guy's going to dominate. Absolutely. DL Hall had a pretty good time in the minor leagues last year. Gunnar Henderson, I feel like he could take a step forward. He can steal some bases, hit some home runs. Want that average to come up a little bit. Had a 350 on base. I believe he was at single A last year, maybe double A. Gunnar Henderson, he was at double A. He played most of his time in A ball. He did well at A, but then when he went to A plus ball, or high A ball, didn't do as well. Was still hitting for some power. But his on base was always pretty good. So Gunnar Henderson, he's still a little far away. Another guy, Heston Kjerstad. That was their top pick in the 2020 draft. Ended up not playing last year. So I think he was dealing with myocarditis, I believe. But this is a guy where a big power guy, bit of a wacky sort of a swing, but there's a lot to like about Heston Kjerstad. DL Hall, I mean, I just talked about him a second ago. He was at Double A last year. DL Hall and Grayson Rodriguez, I think you could see these two in the rotation this year. Why not? Have them come up. Grayson Rodriguez, he was in Double A. Have these guys come up to the major leagues. Fine tune a little bit in the minor leagues, maybe at Triple A, and just have them come up for the second half of the season. Have them take their bumps. And I think the Orioles, you got these guys in the rotation. In 2023, the Orioles could have sign a guy. That's the one thing I also like about the Orioles pushing back the walls a little bit, because maybe pitchers will want to sign there. I think they're going to take this year. Look out. They could maybe attract a guy, in next year's free agent market. If we're taking a look, if Camden Yards ends up being, a pitcher's haven, where guys can thrive, let's look at some free agents for 2023. I mean, you got some guys, pretty good looking pitchers on here for free agency. I mean, come on. You got, Trevor Bauer. Do you want to go after him? Hey, the Orioles can spend some money. Look what they did with Chris Davis. They signed him to a big time deal. Could you, if Noah Syndergaard ends up being, proving that he's healthy, could you go after him? Could you go after Jacob deGrom? Could you imagine Jacob deGrom going to the Orioles? Could you imagine, let's say Grayson Rodriguez and DL Hall end up being really good, and then you go get someone like Jacob deGrom? Oh, come on. That's not, oh, man. You got some other guys here. Sonny Gray, Luis Severino. I think Luis Severino, I know we're talking about minor league guys right now, but Luis Severino, keep an eye out for him this year. I think he could end up being something pretty good. But I think for the Orioles, this is a big year for them. I think pushing back the walls is a pretty big deal. And if pitchers, if they can perform well at that stadium, maybe they could attract one of these free agents. But Grayson Rodriguez, I am so excited for this guy. And Adley Rutschman, can't wait. Here we go. Number 3, we have the Pittsburgh Pirates. Oh man, I'm excited about the Pittsburgh Pirates. I'm gonna be honest here. I'm sorry, I keep mentioning MLB nerds on Twitter, but he had O'Neal Cruz as an underrated free agent. I don't consider O'Neal Cruz underrated. I just don't. I feel like a lot of people have heard of O'Neal Cruz at this point. Is that just me? I don't know. I feel like he's not very underrated. But I'm very excited about O'Neal Cruz. There's a lot to like. He reminds me of Aaron Judge. A lot of Aaron Judge in him. Big guy, can hit for power. He can just hit like crazy. Henry Davis, you just drafted your number 1 guy. Nick Gonzalez. I think Nick Gonzalez is a very underrated guy. Look out for him. I mean, MLB Nerds, he did put Roansy Contreras on his list. I actually did like that. I actually thought that was a nice addition. Don't forget about Quinn Priester. Oh, Conman 752. Stop, Robbie. I can only get so aroused when thinking of actually getting a big-time pitcher to come to Baltimore. I'm telling you, maybe pushing those walls back might end up doing something for you. I'm just saying. The Orioles, I'm telling you, man, they've always been a pesky team. I think they can get back to being what they were in the mid 2010s there. I think they can get back to that. We'll have to wait and see. But there's a lot of ifs. I'm not trying to get too excited over here, but who knows? Maybe it works out. But for the Pirates, thank you for the super chat comment. Really like O'Neal Cruz. Really excited about Henry Davis. That's a guy you can kind of build your organization around. Like just a good, solid catcher. Big arm with Henry Davis, and he's a very good hitter. He's a very good hitter in college. But Nick Gonzalez, I'm really excited about Nick Gonzalez. He got drafted in 2020 out of New Mexico State, Pittsburgh Pirates. This is a guy I think is underrated. Look at the year he had last year. He hit 302, 18 homers, 54 RBIs. He struck out a little bit, 101 strikeouts to 40 walks, but he had 385 on base, 556 slugging, 565 slugging. I really like Nick Gonzalez. I think he could end up moving through the minor leagues pretty quick. Let me go to Roansy Contreras. This is a guy, he did pitch for the Pirates this year. 1 game, 3 innings. So, got to start there. Struck out 4 over the 3 innings. I mean, hey, that's pretty exciting if you ask me. You got a small taste. But last year, AA, AAA, 2.64 ERA, good amount of strikeouts, only walked 13 guys. Roansy Contreras, where are they projecting him on Fangraphs? They have a rotation spot for him? No, they don't even have him in the rotation. Huh. I think he could win a rotation spot. Absolutely, I think they could. Why couldn't he? I mean, so they just have him. So, yeah, they just have him right here. Look out for Miguel Yajuri. He came up to the major leagues last year, but didn't do so hot. I mean, there's also Mitch Keller. Look out for Mitch Keller as well. Young guy. I mean, they got some younger pitchers. I still think they need to add some more pitching. You know, I feel like they could use. I mean, Quinn Priester. I am excited about Quinn Priester. High A ball last year, 20 starts, ERA around 3, only 98 strikeouts in 98 innings. I'm not a big fan of that. You know, when I'm looking at his stuff, he does have a good fastball, good curveball, decent slider, changeup. I'd like to just see a little bit more out of him, you know. But I do like him. I feel like you just need, like, you know, you got Henry Davis. That's like your top guy, your top position player prospect. And then O'Neal Cruz, obviously, and then Nick Gonzalez. But I really want to see, like, a pitcher, you know? I just want to see, like, a big-time pitcher. You know, like someone like Jack Leiter kind of a level. Like, you know, that kind of hype is what I'm talking about. That's what I want for the Pittsburgh Pirates. But you got a lot to like here. O'Neal Cruz, I think he's going to bang. You know, I really like the Anthony Salameno pick for them. If you want to go underrated draft prospects, Anthony Salameno, this guy's underrated. You know, Carmen Mazinski, look out for him. Overall, I thought he did pretty good last year, 3.96 ERA. He's a guy, I think he could be like a 3 or a 4, maybe like a 4 in the major leagues in your rotation. I like Carmen Mazinski. He's a guy that works quick. I like the way he works. But overall, and don't forget about Hudson Head. I think they got him in the Joe Musgrove trade. Hudson Head, man. Last year in 2021, he didn't have really a high batting average, but he had 15 home runs. He had a 362 on base. He did really well in 2019 in rookie ball. So Hudson Head, that could be a guy. But overall, there's a lot to like with the top of the Pirates system. Coming at number 2, we have the Tampa Bay Rays. Look at the Rays. They're always right there. Last year, the top farm system. 2020, the top farm system. 2019, number 2. 2018, number 5. 2017, number 11. I mean, what else is there to say about the Tampa Bay Rays? They just churn guys out of this system like crazy. Shane Baz, and that's a guy, he was pitching in the postseason. So, I'm really excited about Shane Baz, to be completely honest. Number 8 prospect in Major League Baseball on Baseball America. Josh Lowe at number 44. Vidal Brujan, I'm wondering if he's ever going to be anything, at least with the Rays. I don't know. Do you include him in some kind of a trade? I feel like you have infield guys for days, but we all know how the Rays like to operate. They're just always moving guys out of there and whatever. But Taj Bradley at number 58 and Curtis Mead at number 97. The Rays no longer have the best prospect in baseball like they did in each of the past 2 seasons, like Wander Franco. How could I forget about Wander Franco? I think Wander Franco, this guy's gonna bang. I think he's just gonna be so good. I think he's just gonna be so good. I think he's gonna be a top 10 player this year. But they still have one of the deepest farm systems. Not only do the Rays have excellent homegrown talent, but they do as good a job as anyone at acquiring prospects in trades. The Rays, they are very good about that. Whether if it's like, you know, trading away guys, they always seem to trade away the right guys, and they always seem to bring in the right guys too. But Tampa Bay, I mean, what else is there to say? You know, they're always just right there. I love Shane Baz. I thought he was underrated last year, and then he came in and he was just looking really good. Like, his ERA last year in the minor leagues was 2.06. There's no surprise. I think he is going to be a big-time guy for the Rays this year. I think with him and McClanahan at the top of that rotation, especially with Glasnow not going to be there this year. Again, I think right now, you got to put Boz here. I don't see why Boz is not here. He's going to be in this rotation. If he's not in this rotation, I think that's crazy. But a rotation of Boz, McClanahan, Patino, Kluber, and then Rasmussen as well, that's a really solid 5. And then with that great bullpen they always have, really like it. Josh Lowe, I'm a big fan of Josh Lowe. I think he's going to be really good. He came up for the Rays one time this year, 2 games. But he was really good in AAA last year. Hit 291, 22 homers, 381 on base. Really like that. There's guys that they have that can contribute. Brendan McKay, I think this is a bit of an enigma kind of a guy. 2021, he was in rookie ball in AA. What's going to happen with him? What is going to happen with him? So I'm excited to see what ends up happening. Let's see. Where do they have? Let's go to the Rays here. All right. Shane Boz, number 1. Josh Lowe, 2. No Brendan McKay in their top 10. But he's number 9 in pipeline. So, very interesting. But I think the big guys here, Shane Boz, that's the guy to keep an eye out for. Do you still consider him a prospect? He was literally pitching in the postseason. Again, Vidal Brujan, I don't really know. Taj Bradley, look out for him, number 6 guy in pipeline and on Baseball America. He is number 4. But overall, look at what he did in the minor leagues last year. 1.83 ERA over 22 starts, 123 Ks, only 31 walks. A lot to like with Taj Bradley. Taking a look at Taj Bradley. 60 fastball, 60 slider, 50 changeup. He's a 2-pitch guy. That sounds like, the Rays have made these guys work. They have made these guys work. 55 control. So he sounds like a guy that can get some starts, but he could also just come out of the bullpen as an opener too. That's what the Rays like. He's got good stuff. Overall, no surprise to see the Rays coming in at number 2. And at number 1, we have the Seattle Mariners. So I also want to take a look here. Baseball America Mariners. So taking a look here. I think this is the first time the Mariners have the best farm system on Baseball America. So, that was the midseason. They were number 1 at midseason, but when it came to preseason rankings, I think this is the first time ever the Mariners are number 1. So, if we take a look at, this is what I wanted to show all of you. The Mariners, the teams that have had the number 1 farm systems. So again, going back here to Tampa, they were number 1 in 2021. They were number 1 in 2020. They made the World Series in 2020, and they made the playoffs again in 2021. So if we go back to this, the Rays back-to-back years made the playoffs. They had the number 1 they had the number 1 farm. The Padres, 2019. Oh, JM1231, $2 super chat. M's system is as wicked as Matt Brash's slider. That was another guy on MLB Nerds underrated list. Did he have Matt Brash on there? I think he did. Actually, I take that. I think he had Matt Brash. Hold on, let me go look. Hold on. Let me see here. Did he have Matt Brash? I think he did. Here we go. MLB Nerds. Taking a look. Underrated. Okay, yeah, he had Matt Brash at number 4. I agree. I think Matt Brash is completely underrated. Why is this guy not getting more attention? That guy has a Looney Tunes slider. Are you kidding me? But again, looking back at these number 1 guys, or these number 1 farm systems, the Padres had the number 1. They made it in 2020. Unfortunately, 2021, not the same story. The Braves had the number 1 system in 2018. They made the playoffs the next 4 seasons. They won the World Series 3 years later. Braves again, 2017, same thing. Dodgers had the number 1 farm system in 2016. Made the playoffs the next 6 seasons. They won the 2020 World Series. Cubs had the number 1 system in 2015, won in 2016. As you can see, teams that have the number one farm system, you tend to see a lot of success. So what does that mean? You're going to win a World Series? No, but good chance you're in line for making the playoffs. You know why? You know why that's the case? Why? I mean, because you might be thinking here, well, these guys are playing in the minor leagues, or they're coming up, obviously they come up, the next year or whatever. But here's the thing. It is organizational depth. They can call on these guys. They can get these guys up for a spot start here and there. If someone gets injured for a couple of weeks, they can fill in. When you have a good farm system, you have more depth to work with. Depth. I can't stress it enough. Jonathan Tucci with a $4.99 super chat. George Kirby is going to be one of the best pitchers in baseball in the next 3 years. Let's talk about George Kirby, shall we? Mr. George Kirby. There's a lot to like with George Kirby. Going to the Seattle Mariners. There's a lot to like. Here we go. Obviously, because they're number one. But obviously, Julio Rodriguez leads the way. But let's start off with George Kirby. Here we go. Kirby, 70 grade. He's the best pitching prospect, I think, in the game. But Grayson Rodriguez and him are very close. Is Kirby the best? Or is it Grayson Rodriguez? I might give the edge to Grayson Rodriguez, maybe a little bit. Maybe. But then again, I don't know. They're both really good. Kirby's rare mix of power and precision. I cannot talk. Precision gives him the potential to be a number one or number two starter as long as he stays healthy. Has he had some health stuff going on lately? I'll go to the Mariners. See, I would put Kirby at number 2, personally. Not number 3. But Kirby last year had 15 starts. Was he dealing with some injuries last year or anything? Overall, though, his numbers were awesome. Ton of strikeouts. I mean, come on. Kirby, man. It's only a matter of time. Can we imagine a rotation here? Let's go to the Seattle Mariners rotation. Mariners fans, you are drooling over this potential rotation. I mean, got Robbie Ray. That's very good. Marco Gonzalez, Chris Flexen, Logan Gilbert, Justin Dunn. Oh, let's take Justin Dunn out. Let's imagine a top 3 of Robbie Ray, George Kirby, Logan Gilbert. Oh, that is not too bad if you ask me. They are very close. Very close. Do they win it all this year? No, but I think they can make it a really good run. Could they win in 2023? I think there's a really good chance. Jonathan Tucci comes in again with a super chat. $4.99. Just dropping the super chat. Jonathan, thank you so much. I know you're very excited about the Mariners. And, hey, I'm excited to see what they can do too. You know, if there's a team other than my Red Sox that I would like to win, it's the Mariners. You know, Ken Griffey, I loved Griffey growing up. Always have a bit of a soft spot for the Mariners a little bit. Hopefully they can come through. And I'm really excited to see what they can do this year. There's a lot of good vibes coming around with the Mariners. So, but let's take a look at what else here. Noelvi Marte. This is an all-around kind of a player. Speed, power, hits for okay average. 366 on base. Oscar Cervantes, what's going on? Will you cover Keith Law's top 100 farm system ranking? Does he have a farm system ranking? Keith Law. Or does he just have the top 100? Does he have 2022 out yet? Looks like he just has his... it doesn't look like it's yet. Or is it just the top prospect? Oh, it comes out next week. Oh, I might have to. We can do some compares. Oh, Giraffe Neck Mark, man. You kill me with these faces, dude. Jesus. Keith Law's rankings. Here we go. I'll take a quick look. Oh, Jonathan Tucci. He had shoulder problems, and Marte will be the next third baseman of the future. I don't think his build will fit shortstop. Yeah, I'll look at Marte here in 1 second. Here we go. So, number 1, I agree with Rushman. I actually do agree with Bobby Witt at number 2. I think right now, these two, right now in this moment, I think are the two surefire things. Then, wow, they have Riley Green at number 3. Based off of readiness, I could see the argument for Riley Green being number 3. I'd imagine Julio Rodriguez is going to be number 4. No, they don't have Julio Rodriguez number 4. Torkelson at number 4. I understand the bat. The bat's crazy. The bat is crazy. I can get it. I can get it. Rodriguez has to be number 5, right? No, they don't have Julio Rodriguez at number 5. Oh, it's C.J. Abrams. I don't know about that. Oh, I don't know. Do I have to do my video on this? Am I gonna copy Giraffe Neck Mark? I might have to do a video on this. I don't know. C.J. Abrams, he's really good, but he had obviously the knee issue last year. God, Rodriguez has to be number 6, right? I'm scared. Who's number 6? No! Gabriel Moreno. I mean, I like Gabriel Moreno. I think he has a future. He has a really good future. Wow. Rodriguez has to be 7, right? No! He's not number 7. Oh my God. I like Shane Baz. I do. Where's Rodriguez? Is he number 8? No! Keith Law, what are you doing? Keith Law, man, it's time for bed. It's time for bed. He has to be number 9. Has to be. I'm scared. Everyone, I'm scared. I don't want to look. Oh, thank God he's number 9. Oh my God. Keith Law, what are you doing? Jesus, this is brutal. I already don't like this list. Who's number 10? Okay. Volpe at 10. Marte at 11. Green. Oh, come on. No. No. No, you can't put Grayson Rodriguez at 14. No. No. No, you're not putting Hunter Green at number 12. Dang it, Keith Law. No. I can't. I'm going to lose it. I'm sorry. I can't look at it anymore. I might have to do a video on it. I might have to copy Giraffe Neck Mark. I'm sorry. I don't like to copy, but I might have to do a video on that. I'm sorry. I might have to. Give me a thumbs up in the chat. Do you want to see a video on me reacting to Keith Law's his top 50 prospects or whatever it is? Do you want to see a video? Give me a thumbs up in the chat if you want to see it. I don't want to copy Giraffe Neck Mark, but I might have to. You know? I can't. Would you all be okay if I copy Giraffe Neck Mark? I don't like to copy. Are you all okay with that? Because he did do I didn't even realize he had his list out. Well, it looks like, according to some of you, it looks like I'm gonna have to do the video. But yeah, I got to do it because that was bad. I looked at the top 10 and I'm thinking, what the heck are you talking about? Let's go look. Oscar Cervantes, thank you so much for the super chat, and Jonathan as well. Oscar, you just, oh boy, you just completely made me a grumpy man. Oscar, I appreciate you, my friend. So yeah, actually, Dulcie Marist, before I continue on here with I'll finish up here with the Mariners. I'm actually going to be making a series of positional rankings for prospects. I'm going to use Tier Maker. I'm actually going to be using Tier Maker to rank the major league positions as well. So be on the lookout for that. I'm going to start working on that this weekend. I already have some of my rankings already set up, but I'm going to be using Tier Maker. Am I going to make a list? I don't know. Maybe I'll do like a quick list at the end of the video. But I am definitely going to be doing my positional rankings for the major leagues, as well as my tiers for each position for the prospects as well. So, Oscar, people are going to think you're copying Giraffe for that as well because he's doing that. But right now, who cares? Yeah. Whoa, Jonathan. Thank you so much. Jonathan, 1999 Super Chat. Jonathan, you are awesome, my friend. Thank you for that. AK Vlogs, 88 likes. Everyone, let's get to 100 likes. Jonathan, you're awesome, my friend. Thank you for the Super Chats tonight. Everyone, thank you for the Super Chats. You guys have been crazy. I appreciate all the Super Chats. I've been going pretty long here tonight, so it's much appreciated. So, here we go. Let me finish up with the Mariners here. It's already midnight. I got to get out of here. I got to work in the morning. But yeah, George Kirby. This guy's going to be awesome. He's got good stuff. 70 fastball, 60 slider. Control. This is the big one here. 80 control. Are you kidding me? This guy can pump velocity and he can pinpoint it. Oh, that's nasty. That's nasty. I don't even want to know where Keith Law had George Kirby on that list. I'm not looking at it. Marte. I do like Marte a lot. I think that he's got an all-around game. I like Marte. He's got a lot of power, obviously, with him. So let me actually pull him up on here. Harry Ford, they just drafted. He has potential he's far away. Is he going to stick at catcher? You don't know. But with Marte, overall, he had a really good year last year. I mean, I love there are a few strikeouts there, but there are a lot of walks and there are a lot of stolen bases. So on base looks pretty good. So Marte, there's a lot of potential with him. A lot of potential. I personally would put Kirby at number 2, personally, because I think he's just closer. And I think there's just a lot to like with George Kirby. But then you got some other guys down here as well. Brandon Williamson, I think, could be pretty solid. 3.39 ERA and 19 starts. Connor Phillips you got here at number 8. Had a lot of strikeouts. 111 strikeouts in 76 innings. And, that's something to work with, I guess. Oh, JM1231, $2 Super Chat. He had him at 35. No, you're making me upset. I'm going to cry myself to sleep over that. No, he didn't. Oh, Keith Law. It might be time to retire, my friend. I'm sorry. But with a list like that, oh boy. I mean, but it makes it nice for us YouTube content creators. So, Matt Brash at number 10 on this list. I don't agree with that. He was number 4 on Baseball America. Matt Brash, he has a goofy slider. When I say goofy, I mean like it's stupid. Go look at Matt Brash highlights right now. You'll thank me later. Big fastball. His slider is just dumb. Like it'll go like this and then just poof, just like, oh, it's stupid. Matt Brash, the control, he's got to keep the walks down. That is one thing that can bite him a little bit. If you take a look last year, 48 walks. He had a ton of strikeouts. I'd like those walks to come down a little bit if you can. Especially when it comes to the major leagues. Obviously, you're going to be going up against, obviously, the best of the best when it comes to hitters. So you got to work on those walks. But overall, and let's just take one last look at Julio Rodriguez. I actually haven't pulled up his stats yet. He was in Double-A last year. This is why Julio Rodriguez should be higher than number 9 on Keith Law's list. He hit 362 last year in Double-A. I want to see this power come up. I will if I'm going to be a nitpicky guy. I want to see, okay, it was over 46 games. I take it back. But I would still like to see a little bit more power. However, with Julio Rodriguez, he's 180 pounds at 6'3". Please eat a sandwich and have a glass of whole milk. Julio Rodriguez, are you kidding me? This guy is going to be a really good hitter. I'm really excited to see him. Do we see him in the major leagues this year? I think it's possible. But I think the Mariners, I don't think they're going to rush him. He has an incredible on-base percentage of 460. He had an incredible on-base percentage of 461 last year. He's just so advanced. He obviously hits very well. His mechanics are smooth. He has a good feel for the bat. He has a good feel for the barrel. He has good plate discipline. He just has such a good approach already. And how old is he? 19? Okay, he's 21. But this guy is as good as it gets, man. You know, to me, I think it's a travesty that he's number 9 on Keith Law's list. Keith Law, man, I don't know. I'm sure he probably talks about it somewhere. I'd have to read about it. My guess is maybe he wanted to put these guys, you know, some of these guys a little more ahead. Jonathan Tucci, $4.99. Jonathan, you're going crazy. Thanks for the stream, man. Would love to talk baseball with you. Jonathan, man, I'm always here talking baseball. We'll have to definitely set something up, my friend. Ashley, what's going on? Welcome. But the Mariners, the number 1 farm system according to Baseball America. Let's run through it one more time just in case you're coming in and if you weren't here for the last 3 hours or so. The White Sox, number 30. The Angels, number 29. The Astros, number 28. The A's at number 27. The Nationals, number 26. The Brewers at number 25. The Rockies at number 24. The Phillies at number 23. The Braves at number 22. The Padres at number 21. What just happened? The Marlins at number 20. I think the Marlins need to be up higher on this list personally. The Blue Jays at number 19. I think there's an argument for the Blue Jays to be up higher on this list. The Cardinals at number 18. I would put them lower on this list. The Giants at number 17. I would bump them up a little bit. The New York Mets. I think this is an okay spot for them. Number 16. The Cubs. I think there's an argument for them to be a little higher, but I'm okay with number 15. The Twins at number 14. I think maybe a couple spots higher is reasonable, but I'm okay with 14. The Yankees at number 13. I think the Yankees personally have an argument to be a top 10. That's me personally. The Guardians, number 12. I think they have an argument to be number 10. The Red Sox, I actually like this spot. I'm okay with the Red Sox being anywhere from 11 to 15. I'm okay with that. I think 11 is a good spot because they're starting to have some of these guys really develop. Number 10, the Diamondbacks. I think they could be a little higher. The Rangers, number 9. I think they could actually be a little lower. The Dodgers, number 8. I think that's a good spot. The Reds, number 7. I think they could go down a little bit. The Tigers at number 6. I think you could even say the Tigers could be a little lower, maybe. They're very top heavy. The Royals at number 5. The Royals, I think I'm okay with anywhere from 5 to 10 for the Royals. The Orioles, number 4. I'm okay with that. I think that's a good spot. Hawks Eye View, thanks for all you do. Hey, thank you for always coming out to the streams, my friend. Hey, I appreciate all the support. Thank you. The Pirates at number 3. I think that's a good spot. The Rays, number 2. And I agree. I think the Mariners, number 1. I think the Mariners, if you were to be a little nitpicky, you could say they're a little top heavy, but they have a lot of good guys in their top 10. At least it's not just the top 5. You got Harry Ford, who's far away. I think he's going to be really good. Even Noelvi Marte. They got guys that are very close. And how can I forget Emerson Hancock? This is another guy. Imagine a rotation. Robbie Ray, George Kirby, Logan Gilbert, Emerson Hancock. What a rotation. That is crazy. Emerson Hancock was really good last year. Double-A, he had 3 starts, 3.29 ERA. He had 9 starts in high A ball. Very good numbers for Emerson Hancock. Looking for a big step from him. And there's also Zach Deloche. He had good numbers last year. 276 average, 14 homers, 59 RBIs, 373 on base overall between high A and double A. The Mariners, I think they have the number 1 farm system. They have guys that are ready now. They have guys that are ready, 3 to 4 to 5 years from now. Come on. There's so much to like here. The Mariners, I think you're pretty close. I think you're very close. I think the playoffs are very near for the Seattle Mariners. Everyone, I am going to get out of here. I'm exhausted. I am tired. I see a super chat, JM1231, for a sleeper look at Alberto Rodriguez. Let's see. Alberto, number 21. Here, I'll come back to you. Oh, yeah, he had a pretty good year last year. Hit 289, 10 home runs, 65 RBIs. A little bit on the strikeouts, but he had 53 walks. So that's another one. And that was an A ball. JM, thank you for the super chat, my friend. But yeah, maybe he can come along too. Number 21 as of right now. But he definitely struggled in high A ball when he moved up there. So we'll have to keep an eye on him. But everyone, thank you for coming out tonight. It was a long stream tonight, about 3.5 hours tonight. Man, we really chugged along tonight. But we looked at some good prospects. We looked at the new rankings for Baseball America heading into 2022. Everyone that left a super chat tonight, thank you. I really do appreciate all of that. And anyone that just stopped by, hey, thank you for coming out tonight. I really appreciate it. But everyone, have yourself a good night. I'm tired. I'm going to face plant into my pillow probably in the next minute. Have a good day tomorrow. And I'll probably do a Q&A tomorrow night. Be on the lookout unless there's some news to talk about. So be on the lookout for a stream tomorrow evening. Everyone, have a good night, and I'll talk to you next time.